Alright. Let's see what we got today. Actually, so weird. Just do it already. Bro, you're making me buzz! Just go live. Like, dude, dog. She didn't get shot in the foot a year ago. Alright. She didn't get shot in the foot a year ago. Alright. Oh, it's working. Shot in the foot a year ago. No way. Wait, is it actually? If it's working, this is the best app of all. Ryan, get on the live. Or yo, no way it's working, right? Clearly it's not. Alright. Alright, what we got lined up for today? We got how I caught my grandpa. Hawk the. Alright.
Hi, this is Kaiser. You probably maybe seen my sister's videos,
Bro,
but
what? He's look, he got drip on the
account, and in order to use her account, I have to be in her room.
Bro, what? Alright.
Imagine being halfway across the country at 13 years old, alone with only your little sister and a grandparent you barely know.
Hope you like the video.
But what you do know is you just accidentally found a crap load of CP. And the man who holds...
Wow, that's a great way to open up the video. For what you do know is that you have a crap load of PH kids. An entire bucket load of PH kids. Alright, I was gonna make another joke, but like, no.
Holds it. Your own grandfather is your only way home.
Does it even get up anymore? Hold up, wait. Average age of a grandfather. 65. Yeah, it's not getting up, bro. Yeah. I'm sorry to tell you, bro. It's not getting up.
Crap load of CP. And the man who holds it, your own grandfather, is your only way home.
Bro, what the world is going on? What the world is going on? What in the world is going on?
You may have seen some comments in the past calling out my absolute honker ears. Hell, this one's even deformed. But even with my big deformed ears, you know what fits better than anything? What fits wonderfully? Raycon Everyday Ergonomic Earbuds fit like an absolute beaut no matter what I'm doing. Whether it be a long run, editing, cleaning, or whatever else may have you.
Then why didn't you like the stream
for
then?
as long as you may need to, because they have 32 hours.
And then why didn't you like the stream?
Charges. And even better yet, if you have a bad 32 hours of battery life, well then just anything.
Amazing means the Tooth Fairy made it
when
to
I
the
get
house
big, the
last
first
night.
thing I'm doing is buying YouTube
Amazing.
Premium, bro.
To do with them. But after a few years and, being a struggling single mother, she eventually allowed them to send us things through our church. I was about 6, this went on for probably a few years, and my mom had finally decided that they had won her over enough to allow them to meet us. Us being me and my little sister is a little to make a video about your grandfather being a serial predator, but hey, this is probably the closest it'll be to a good time.
Whoa. Talk to
I grew up never really knowing my dad. He beat the piss out of me pretty
Alright.
badly when I was a baby, so I hear. My mom was actually told that I was never even going to be able to walk, and I would likely be paralyzed. I grew up pretty religiously as well for the first 10 years or so of my life, going to church pretty much almost every Sunday.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, God teaches you to love your family. So, when eventually my grandparents reached out to my mom wanting to be in our lives, she was somewhat accepting. Like I said, I never knew my dad, and he was never in my life, but his parents wanted to be in mine despite what he had done. Initially, my mom didn't really want anything to do with them, but after a few years and, you know, being a struggling single mother, she eventually allowed them to send us things through our church. I was about 6, this went on for probably a few years, and my mom had finally decided that they had won her over enough to allow them to meet us. Us being me and my little sister, who is 1 year younger than me. Met them at Chuck E. Cheese, and honestly, I remember it being a blast. I mean, what kid isn't gonna have fun at Chuck E. Cheese? We got to know them, learned a lot about them, and we learned that my grandfather, he was actually a pastor, an active youth pastor.
And a raging, desperate pedophile. Sorry.
At a children's ministry in North Carolina. Of course, my mom liked that and, you know, green flags, so they began to come around more and more. Not much because they live in North Carolina, but about once or twice a year we would see them. Typically, we'd only really see them if they were like in town for some church reasons or occasionally family reasons, but this arrangement went on for about 7 or 8 years until I was 13 and my sister was about 12. I think I was in 8th grade at the time.
Quit the
and we had
yapping.
concocted
Where's the
this
buttload
amazing
of C?
idea to spend our spring break over in North Carolina with our grandparents. You know, really get to know them. Honestly, overall, it was a pretty dope vacation. We saw mountains, I saw oceans, we ate great food. It was great, all besides for a few red flags that at the time seemed minor, but now, you know, I look at it a little differently. It was mostly minuscule, but there's one instance in particular that my mom was particularly concerned about, even at the time. There was one instance where I had mildly, like, upset my grandfather.
I
He
mildly
kind of,
liked
just
boys.
flipped a switch and turned into a whole new human being for a little while. It's kind of scary. Basically, there was this girl that I knew we were going to be meeting for some reason or another. I think she was like a step relative on my grandma's side or something along those lines. I'm not sure, but I knew I wasn't related to her, and I knew we were meeting her. And of course, I thought she was cute, so I did what any boy would do at the time with no game. I sent her a Facebook friend request and added her.
Alright. Oh yeah, he's on Facebook. Oh yeah, he's on Facebook. If you name me one person that you know who is below the age of 40, 35 on Facebook, I'll sell you my channel. Like literally. I'm not even baiting you right now. Like masterly baiting you right now at all. In no way, shape or form. Alright, let's get back to it.
There. I don't know if I thought I would lay on the charm with my Instagram posts like before
lay
I
on
met
the
her, but I for some reason. Anyways, my grandpa, as old
Sad
people
as that
do,
Rose?
took tons of
Was that
pictures
right?
on this trip.
I can't say chat anymore
on
because that's
Facebook.
not funny.
However, there was one
Feels like I'm actually
particularly
streaming.
bad photo of me that he had posted where I just really didn't like the way I looked. It was an unflattering picture of me, to say the least. I can probably find it. But I knew he had this girl friended, and I had her friended, and I didn't want her to see that. I was embarrassed. You know, I'm a young boy in a changing body, and a girl that I knew I was meeting and thought was cute could see this ugly picture of me, so I simply asked him to delete it because I was embarrassed by it. I think a reasonable request for an insecure little boy, but not to him apparently. He basically just got super pissy about it, going like, fine, I guess I'll never get pictures of you again. Guess I don't need pictures of my own grandchildren. Kind of being a baby about it. But eventually he got over it and we went about our vacation up until the last night there.
What did you do?
I've been making videos for a long time. Pretty much since I was like 5 years old, I've been trying to create content on the internet. And as such, I've become very familiar with the internet and technology at a young age, including internet culture. You'll see why this is important in a minute. It was our final day in North Carolina, and we had just gotten back to my grandparents' house from the other place we were staying at for a few days. We had our flight back home the next morning pretty early, and we had yet to print our tickets. And so my grandfather gave me his phone to do so. I did so without issue, and we got our tickets printed to go home. However, you know on phones how you can like swipe up or hit a button and see all of your open apps that are running in the background, and you can swipe up or down to close them? Well, I've always had a habit of doing that, and so without even thinking, I did so on my grandfather's phone, just out of habit. I was habitually swiping up fast, and so I closed it quick, but I realized I closed an app that had caught my eye in particular, an app that I thought it to be interesting that my grandpa even had on his phone. I'll give you a few seconds to take a guess as to what app could be so alarming.
Pornhub Kids. Pornhub Kids. Pornhub Kids. Sorry.
App was Kik. Kik Messenger. If you know anything about Kik Messenger or its history, then I'm sure you'll know why this piqued my interest pretty quickly.
I mean, it's got the name Kik in it, so like it can't be good. It can't be. All the Kik streamers are actually freaks.
Quickly. See, even being 13 at the time, I knew way more than I should have about the internet. So I knew about Kik. Kik for a long time had been, and still unfortunately is to this day, a clusterfuck of an app, known for being the go-to messaging service for child predators.
On Kik, users share messages, photos, and videos.
Fair.
You don't have to be friends to connect.
All
Anyone can
right.
contact anyone.
No, that's actually crazy. Anyone can contact anyone. That's like you're asking to be that's like in the app's description. It says, "Hey, download me if you want to be brutally molested." Like, dog. That's actually terrible.
Kik is one of the most popular apps that works
I would
this
like
way.
to
And that's the problem.
All
according to
right.
police.
I didn't assume anything at this time, and less alarm bells
Yeah, we
rang in
need
my
more
head than probably
police.
should have, but it was enough to pique my interest, at
Yeah,
least a
why
little
is your
bit. I mean, come on,
65-year-old
maybe
grandpa
Grandpa
on
was in
Kik,
some
bruh?
church group chats. We went about the night as normally as
yeah,
we could, but
promise he
I
was
decided
not.
in my head that when everyone had fell asleep,
This is the Google Pixel
Bruh.
9 with Magic Editor,
Oh my god.
which lets you start with a photo and then make a better photo by adding more photo. Oh,
my
yeah,
god.
definitely post that one.
We're saying goodbye to the old way
Wait.
and embracing a
Okay,
new way.
okay.
A united
If
way.
y'all give me, I would actually get that.
I was
app,
gonna sneak
low-key.
my grandpa's phone
For the
and have a
fun of it.
look-see as to what he was
Like
up to
on
on Kik.
stream?
Who knows?
On
Maybe it really
stream?
just was a nice church group
I'd
chat. Here's my
go
cue to
catch,
find God
catch
again.
predators.
It was not. For about 3 hours, I just sat on my phone, waiting for my opportunity. About 1 a.m., everyone had fallen asleep for a little while. My grandpa had foolishly left his phone out on the table.
I'd
He also
actually be okay with
foolishly
that.
didn't have a password on it. I managed to sneakily grab his phone and then lock myself in the bathroom,
doesn't
begin
have a
checking it out. I
password
remember
on
seeing
their
his profile
phone,
first. It was a
stupid.
picture of him in a tie-dye shirt. He went
All
under the
right.
name Horny Artist. Needless to say,
All
there
right.
were no church group chats, and honestly, there was no real good explanation for why he had Kik. Unless you count having terabytes of CP as a good explanation. I wouldn't.
Terabytes. Oh, brother.
I don't think I need to go into detail with what I saw.
Yo,
but
I actually-
just
you've
know
actually
I
got a
saw
point.
pretty much probably the worst stuff that I probably could have seen. I began scrolling through, and there was probably about 50 different individuals my grandfather was trading this nasty stuff with. One of the main people he would converse with on this app was someone named Kat. He had also shared images of my sister with her, as well as pictures of the other step-granddaughter that we had met
sister?
earlier on this trip. It was all normal pictures, but he just mentioned that we were visiting, and that this other granddaughter would be staying with him for a week later that same summer. Now, honestly, I wasn't really sure what to do, and I mean, I don't think any 13-year-old would. I didn't want to really record what was on his phone because I didn't want to have CP on my own phone and get in trouble. I made sure to memorize his username and diligently studied his conversation with this cat person. Funny enough, this is how I actually knew how to catch predators on Omegle, is because this cat girl
He
at
actually
this
has
time
Riz.
told my grandfather that she uses Omegle to find other predators and kids. Anyways,
Wait,
I'd
I
concocted
actually-
a
we've
plan.
actually
We ended
gotta
up
get
leaving
this
the
in,
next
like,
day
find
and made it
predators,
home
bro.
safely. Right when we got back home, I got right to work. When I got back home, I made made a fake kick profile, pretending to be a 26-year-old girl. And yes, my plan was I was basically acting like a fellow predator, 13 years old. I reached out to him telling him I was a friend of this cat girl, and we got to talking. Hey, my friend Kit told me about you. Who? Cat? And? Just Cat. Then he immediately sends a penis picture. No words, just straight dick. You married? I asked.
Okay,
at this point I could gauge he was a sick and enjoyed being a sick fuck, so I knew he probably wouldn't have an issue admitting to this. To be honest, yes. You? No, I'm 26. I have a boyfriend though. I mean, this right here, my age was really showing. I said that like a 26-year-old wouldn't be married. That's unreasonable. Like, oh no. It's an open relationship. He doesn't care what I do. Does your wife know? Heck no. Better not get caught. Kissing emoji. I want to suck a dick. Try it. Do you have anyone who's...
So let me get this straight here. The man who is a church pastor, that means head of the church. Clearly he is not practicing what he's preaching. This is Bill Cosby type timing, bro. Holy.
Dick you can suck? LOL. Tried mine. I'm just short, LOL.
Alright.
You could always meet with someone. He sends another picture of his pee-pee.
Okay, bro.
What did Kat say? I asked if she knew any hot guys who will send pics, and she gave me you. He then sent me a picture of him holding his wiener with his face in it. Better yet, it also said camera right underneath the image, which on Kik means that was taken alive. Right then, in that moment, while we were texting. Where's your wife? At work.
Gosh.
Sneaky. Do you have a friend you can suck off? I think my mindset here was I was just trying to see if you had mentioned anyone that I might have known, or me or my sister or something. I don't know. Not yet. So I pressed some harder, or sign depending on your relationship.
This is the Google Pixel 9. These are some restaurants Dan just suggested, and this is you holding down a button and having Gemini put these restaurants on a map. Nice. That works.
Yo, the entirety of the police force needs to take this app down, bro. How is this app still here?
I know some people would do stuff with their kids or grandkids. And then unfortunately, I got the response I was looking for. I would. With who? Granddaughter. Oh, how old are they? 12. How often do you see them? Then his response to that was a picture of my sister just sitting at the beach in her bathing suit. That was a safer work image. It was like a Facebook image you would find on like a mom's Facebook. But obviously it's pretty disturbing to have seen it being sent around that way. I was honestly speechless, so I just responded with I'll send a pic later. He then sent another picture of one of his other step-granddaughters, the one that we had met previously on this trip, who was also around our age. Now that I think about it, me and Grandpa were eyeing the same girl, which was not cool, dude. When did you see them last? They taste good, too. Spent a week with first pic, second pic coming for a week. And you didn't try anything? And he just responded with, her brother in the pool, too. Rubbing your kitty? Yeah, I am. Nah, see. And I guess I just never seen a vagina in my life, or knew how they work, or probably even talked to a woman at this point in my life, because for some reason, my response to, yeah, I'm playing with my kitty, can you see? My response was, send a pic when I'm not around people. Who's there? I'm in a car with my friends and mom. I guess the girl I was pretending to be was a freak. I really don't know how he didn't get skeptical at this point, but hey, I wasn't a professional at this time yet, okay? I was 13. He sent another pee-pee picture. You play with Kat? Not yet. Just started this account yesterday. Send you one of her sucking me when I see your pics. I love young. Okay, I'll trade. He sent 2 more PP pictures and an image of a girl, clearly not 18. At this point, I just decided to leave our conversation alone, as I had pretty much got all that I felt that I needed from him, and he had pretty heavily incriminated himself already at this point. So naturally, I felt like I had seen enough of Grandpa for the day, and I just left him alone. And before I even went to the police or even told my own mom, I wanted to make people around him aware, so I messaged the mother of the other granddaughter. "Excuse me, but do you have a moment to spare? It could involve your daughter." "Yes?" Now honestly, I didn't think she would take me seriously because I was a literal kid myself at the time, so I lied to her a little bit. "I'm an online vigilante who catches pedophiles and stops them before they do anything to harm anyone. Unfortunately, I have hard evidence of Tom Kinsley saying and sending very illegal things. I would keep your daughter away from him as well." And might I say, that message was June 9th of 2017. And what a crazy foreshadow, because here I am 8 years later. This was basically my destiny, you know? Basically, I created a fake profile pretending to be a 26-year-old girl to get proof of him admitting to things he wants to do to your daughter, his other granddaughter, and other kids. And inevitably, this got the ball rolling. And he then pretty swiftly underwent FBI investigation and was arrested and charged with indecent liberties with a minor, as well as 5 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. Unfortunately, he bitched out like the coward we all know these child predators are, and on June 17th, 2017, took his own life in his jail cell. Hopefully this gives you all some more insight in regards to why I do what I do and the content style that I make. Views and shit are obviously cool and all, but this style of content has always had a deeper and more personal meaning to me. Thank you guys so much for 1 million. That's literally my childhood dream, and I hope you guys continue to support me in the future, because we have a lot of crazy videos coming up.
You guys know the drill. This is the seasonal unranked to unreal speedrun so I can pay my bills. Someone please explain to me why college is so expensive. Like I had to pay $5.
Oh, she actually asked to be. Here, let's do like a few minutes.
Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to Reddit Scary Stories. This video will just be a ton of different spooky and scary stories, and trust me, they're all just great. So you'll want to stick around until the end and just listen to all of them. It's a great video to fall asleep to or just listen to while studying and stuff like that. So just stick around and listen to all these stories. They're amazing. And also subscribe to the channel and like the video. It helps out the channel a ton. But alright, anyways, let's get into some Reddit scary stories. There's something in the woods. I'd previously posted this story with my wife's account a couple days ago in r/Bigfoot. I didn't know what we had seen, and it wasn't until someone replied with, "Feel free to post on r/Backwoods Creepy." This caught me off guard as I'd never heard of a Glimmerman, Wendigo, or a crawler before. Now I haven't read too much into this topic as I have a lot going on, but I soon realized that this ties in just about everything that has happened since we moved in a year ago. I'm going to start with the seemingly unrelated incidents that have led up to the most recent eye-opening experience. About a year ago, I moved my family and I to a home way out in the woods in Tennessee. I want it to be brief here, but I need to get this off my chest. And after looking into this matter a little more, I have a lot more details that I think will paint a clear picture in the end, so please bear with me. The nights here can be extremely loud. Between the crickets, the tree frogs, and the cicadas, it can almost be deafening. One night, not too long after we moved in, I'd forgotten something in my car and headed outside to get it. The first thing that struck me as odd was that my dog wouldn't go outside with me. My dog goes everywhere with me, as I am her whole world. But not this night. As I held the door open, she looked out, then looked up at me and was like, "Nope." So I walked out and shut the door behind me.
Dogs are actually good.
The second thing that caught me off guard was that there was not a peep. It was dead silent. Still, shrugged this off and walked down my front steps and headed down to my car. When I got about 10 feet from my car, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I felt as though something was watching me. I looked around but saw nothing. After I reached in my car for what I had forgotten to grab earlier, I had this feeling like something was moving towards me. I took a step back and checked around me.
I've never had
All of a sudden, I heard one of my hedges next to me, that walkway to our front door rattle. At first, I thought it was a rabbit that I had spooked, as I had seen one just earlier in the day right where this was. A few seconds later, I heard the sound of a large rock, about the size of a cantaloupe, landing a few feet away from me. It hit the walkway and bounced into a shrub. I drew my gun and called out and said, whoever that this was is about to...
Bro, you never told me he had a Glock on him. This was scary till I found out he had a gun. Ha! Ha!
Be shot.
You have nothing on me.
After a few seconds of nothing, I began to think that maybe this was some local teenagers messing with the new people. I holstered my sidearm, turned, and started walking back to my front door. Almost as soon as I turned towards my house, I heard this deep panting sound.
Please don't.
It sounded like a huge dog, but what made me note back to my front door was that it sounded like it was right behind me. I leaped up onto my porch, turned and drew my gun again, expecting something right there, but again, there was nothing. A couple weeks later, I was on my porch at night, sitting on a bench with my wife. She got up and walked inside to get something, and as soon as she shut the door, I heard that panting sound again. I couldn't see anything, yet this sounded like it was right on top of me. The sound was coming from everywhere, and it was very loud. Again, I couldn't see anything, so I noped it back inside my house. Now at this point, I was questioning moving here, but after nothing else really happening, I let it go. A month or so later, it was really rainy and stormy night. This is around 9 p.m. and my wife and I enjoyed listening to the rain and talking about how relaxing the rain is. Me growing up in Oregon loved the rain. And for the past 10 years we lived in Vegas where it would dump the entire year of rain in a day, then be bone dry for the rest of the year. For my wife who grew up in Nevada, rain was such a rare thing she loved going outside and watching the rain. So for us this was an enjoyable experience. Except this night in particular, things took a weird turn. As we were sitting there talking about the rain and relaxing, my wife stops me and said, "Did you hear that?" I said, "No, what did you hear?" She said, "I swear it sounded like a small child calling for help out in the woods beside our house." I said, "No, I didn't hear anything." After a few moments of us listening intently, she said, "There it is again." I said, "I didn't hear a thing, sweetie. Are you sure you're just not hearing things?" She looked at me offended that I didn't hear anything and said, "No, I'm positive. How could you not hear that? It was our son. I think he's out there and got lost." I said, "No, he's in the house sleeping on the couch." We then both looked through the blinds that were open right behind us, and we could see all of our children laying there. She said, "That's so weird. I swear it sounds like our son." I said, "Well, it isn't him. He's right here. Besides, I don't hear anything." She then stands up and says, "Wow, he's really crying out for help. I need to go look for him."
Lady off a yerk?
Now at this point, if you knew my wife, you'd know she's absolutely creeped out by the woods and wouldn't be caught dead walking into them during daylight, much less at night during a storm.
Then what?
I grabbed her hand and said,
Bro. I'm actually sorry. But like, this is always, without fail, every single time, Caucasian families. Every time. "I'm scared of the woods." "Hey honey, let's get this house by the woods. It looks amazing."
I've been listening intently, and there's absolutely nothing calling out for help. You need to stay here. At this point, I'm getting worried about her. She was acting completely out of character, not to mention that at this time, she was 8 months pregnant with our baby daughter.
Wait, hold
She then
on.
says,
"Everybody pause. Quote of the day. Quote of the day. Quote of the day." Brian, do you have a quote of the day? I'm actually about to think about this one. This is actually hard. Even though, no, let's think. Who? Sorry. Quote of the day. Penis. Sorry. Brian, do you have any quote of the day ideas? Huh. Huh. Type shift. Was that a hard quote or no? Was it a hard quote or no? was it fire quotes or no? Was it fire quote or no? Was it fire quote or no? Alright.
What if there's some child out there lost in the woods?
Huh.
I said, well, first off, I would be able to hear them too. Secondly, there are no other kids around here for miles, and the odds of them being lost 100 feet from our house that's lit up like a Christmas tree is nil. She then says, I know, but
when they see you trying to heal is when they start attacking. Yo, look! Why was that actually low-key kind of hard? Top 10 epic Fortnite quotes to inspire deep motivation. Huh. Okay. Top 10, the top 10. The more you camp, the worse you get. Tell me that's not hard. Alright, back to the video, my fault.
What if it's a kid? Before I could say anything else, she stands up and starts walking towards the stairs. I jumped up and grabbed her hand and said, no, you're not.
No! Bro, oh my.
What is it you're holding? A cookie?
Get in the house. I don't know what's going on, but you need to go inside.
Get in the house.
She then complies and we both go inside. I don't know what this was, but it freaked me out. A few months after this, just as it was getting dark outside, I heard the front door to our house open, and I got up to investigate. We have autistic 6-year-old twins, and we have the door set up so they
I'm sorry. You know what? Just for a second. We'll get back to the story right after this quick brief message.
Mom? Long time.
Dinner. Whew. Do we feel better now, guys? Gospel of Matthew. This is actually my favorite book in the Bible.
Abide Meditation has everything you need for a peaceful night's sleep.
You can
download Abide from the App Store today.
But she will treat you like a okay, bro.
With us. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord had commanded him and took Mary home as his wife. But he did not consummate their marriage until she gave birth to a son, and he gave him the name Jesus. Matthew chapter 2. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too..."
We can't open it without us there. So to hear the sound, it could only be my wife. What was weird was the fact that she doesn't usually go outside without saying something to me. I walked out front and saw my wife walking down our private road towards...
For those of y'all like who just got here, we're at like... Okay, so basically the wife of this guy is like she's hearing stuff out in the woods and she's scared of the woods or whatever. And she has 2 autistic babies. That's all you really need to know.
The drive on the side of the house.
Okay.
I asked her what she's doing, and she said she was sitting on the back patio and kept hearing a baby crying out in the woods. I said, "Seriously, are you just going to decide to walk off into the woods to investigate?" She then looks out into the woods and says, "See, there it is again." Again, I can't hear anything, but what I did notice is that it was completely silent out again. I told her, just like before, the chances of a baby being out in the woods outside our house is slim and that she needed to get back in the house.
Bro, this lady
she said,
might
"What
be
if
hearing
someone left a
things,
baby
bro."
out there?" I said, "Well, if that were true, I would hear it too." Now at this point, I was really starting to worry about my wife's mental health. I actually asked her to see a psychiatrist and she did. Now looking back, I feel really bad about this, knowing what I know. A key to this moment was that my wife had just given birth to a baby girl a month before. A few days after this, we are out front on the porch. It's early evening, and I just mowed the lawn this day, and our 3-year-old son was riding around on his little car in front of the house. Now he knows that he is not allowed outside of a certain area that we mapped off. He loves playing outside, but with the road behind 50 feet from our porch, we have to be careful as a lot of boaters will fly through after drinking all day on their boats. As we were talking, we are both keeping an eye on him. A neighbor drives by and stops to say hi for a second. This interaction took approximately 8 seconds, as all they said was, "How are things?" We said good, and he told us he would stop by later as his wife got something for the kids, who happens to be one of their teachers in school, and we said, "Okay, great," and he drove off. I looked over where our son was, and he was gone. I called out his name and ran over to the side of the house and could hear his car on our side drive. I scolded him for leaving the area, and he said something in his 3-year-old gibberish and pointed to the woods behind our house. I said he had 5 seconds to get back up into the front of the house or else. He adamantly pointed back in the direction of the woods and kept trying to tell me something. I looked off in the direction of the woods and just assumed he saw a deer or squirrel or something and wanted to see it up close. I walked him back up to the front of the house and he cried the whole way there. He got really upset that I wouldn't let him go into the woods. But I just wrote this off as him being curious, and most 3-year-old boys are. Now this instance isn't isolated, as our twins have done similar things, but nothing quite as extreme as this. There have been nights where we had just laid down for the night and heard a loud bang on the side of our house on the wall behind our bed. It was so loud that I jumped up and looked out the window. Our floodlights had come on, but I couldn't see anything. Now the weird part about this is that our bedroom sits about 12 feet from the ground level, as we have a full-size basement that's cinder block. I put on my slippers and grabbed one of my 12-gauge shotguns.
It's a 12 gauge. Alright, we know where you're living at.
And walked outside to investigate. It was dead silent again. The floodlights that's on the side of our house had clicked off at this point, so I walked over to the end of the yard and shined my light around the yard. There was nothing. I walked around the house and shined the light around intently. As I approached the back side of the house, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. It felt like something was watching me. I shined the light up in the trees, but again, nothing. I rounded the corner, and the first thing I noticed was that my 3 dogs that were in the area weren't making a peep. Now, our dogs have no filter and will bark at anyone and everyone. This includes me. So to see them all hiding with their tails between their legs, not making a peep, really had me worried. As I kept walking, all of a sudden, the crickets and frogs started making sounds again. It was as if someone had clicked a switch. I walked back into the house and told my wife that I hadn't seen anything. She shrugged and said, "Okay, as long as our dogs were okay." Due to the circumstances that night, I decided to let the dogs in and sleep with us. This very same thing happened on all 4 exterior walls of our house. It's random and annoying, but just like this instant, every time, there's nothing going on outside. There's also been times where we were sitting in the house, and as I was watching a movie, my wife walked over to me and said, "Did you call me?" I said, "No." And she said she swears she heard me call her name in her ear. She said that it was definitely my voice, but she didn't understand because it sounded so close. And I was a good 20 feet away from her in my recliner. The important part of this is that she was sitting at the table doing something and the slider to the backyard was open behind her. Now our back patio sits about 20 feet off the ground and it's like a balcony as it has no stair access outside. I think the previous owner built it for barbecuing. There have been several instances where she would say she heard something whisper in her ear, but she couldn't make out the sound. Again, I kept thinking she was going crazy, but as you will see, I think all of this is tied into this final moment where things are revealed.
Let's go.
It's about time. Let's finish this.
The last thing I want to mention before we get into what just happened is that I have a shooting range built behind my workshop on the opposite side of our property next to the main road.
Why is this frightening for you at all? This guy's a real deal shooter. Why does he care? And like, bang! It raps.
It is kind of in a down slope, but it works perfectly for what I need it for. The range itself is cut straight into the woods going down about 100 yards or so. When you're down at the range, you have woods surrounding you on all sides except back up to my shop. I have to say it has always felt creepy when I'm dealing with my targets or mowing. When you're down there, it feels like you're miles from anyone. One day around 5 in the evening, I was sighting in my new rifle scope. The sun was still up, but was going to start to fade soon. So I knew this was going to be a final test. Up until this point, nothing really happened when I was making my multiple trips down range, other than this feeling of uneasiness. As I got down range, I kept getting this feeling like someone or something was watching me. I looked around but didn't see anything. As I was placing stickers over my previous shots, I heard something big off to the side of me. It sounded like a large branch that had snapped off a tree. Now, if you've been in Tennessee woods, you know there are a lot of branches fall off trees randomly out of nowhere, so this is nothing new. Except this time, it was very loud and sounded like a fresh, strong wood, if that makes sense. I turned and looked, but again, couldn't see anything. I started walking up to my rifle, and I swear I heard something right behind me. I turned around, but again saw nothing. As I started to walk again, I heard this deep growl. It was really deep and loud, and what's worse is that it was all around me. I turned around facing the range and started walking backwards. The thought of some rabid dog charging out of the bushes had me freaked out, so running wasn't a good idea. I slowly walked up backwards, up the hill to my rifle, but nothing happened. I grabbed my rifle and sprayed the target with rapid fire, hoping to scare off whatever was stalking me. I left 10 rounds in the mag and grabbed my rifle bag and quickly walked back up to the house. I never told my wife about this, as I didn't want to freak her out. Fast forward about a year later, from when we moved in, and my niece is staying with us as a live-in nanny to earn money over summer break from college. We are on our way back.
Two may go and worship him.
We're switching.
After they had heard the king, they went on their way. And the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up," he said. "Take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I called my son." When Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. "A voice is heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted, because they are no more. After Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother and go to the land of Israel, for those who were trying to take the child's life are dead." So he got up, took the child and his mother, and went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was reigning in Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. Having been warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee, and he went and lived in a town called Nazareth. So was fulfilled what was said through the prophets, that he would be called a Nazarene. Matthew chapter 3. In those days John the Baptist came, preaching in the wilderness of Judea, and saying, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven has come near." This is he who was spoken of through the prophet Isaiah. A voice of one calling in the wilderness, "Prepare the way for the Lord, make straight paths for it." John's clothes were made of camel's hair, and he had a leather belt around his waist. His food was locusts and wild honey. People went out to him from Jerusalem and all Judea and the whole region of the Jordan. Confessing their sins, they were baptized by him in the Jordan River. But when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees coming to where he was baptizing, he said to them, "You brood of vipers, who warned you to flee from the coming wrath? Produce fruit in keeping with repentance, and do not think you can say to yourselves, 'We have Abraham as our father.' I tell you that out of these stones God can raise up children for Abraham. The axe is already at the root of the trees, and every tree that does not produce good fruit will be cut down and thrown into the fire.
Okay, now I get that.
I baptize you with water for repentance, but after me comes one who is more powerful than I, whose sandals I am not worthy to carry. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. His winnowing fork is in his hand, and he will clear his threshing floor, gathering his wheat into the barn and burning up the chaff with unquenchable fire." Then Jesus came from Galilee to the Jordan to be baptized by John. But John tried to deter him, saying, "I need to be baptized by you, and do you come to me?" Jesus replied, "Let it be so now. It is proper for us to do this to fulfill all righteousness." Then John consented. As soon as Jesus was baptized, he went up out of the water. At that moment, heaven was opened, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and alighting on him. And a voice from heaven said, "This is my Son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased."
I remember that.
Matthew chapter 4. Then Jesus was led by the...
All right.
Back from the store and about a mile from our house, I saw two eyes reflecting in the headlights coming from a wide tree on the side of the road just ahead. It caught my attention because they were higher than a deer, but a different color and size. Just as I had said, "What is that?" and squinted, they vanished. I had made a comment that it was almost as if I had known I could see its eyes and moved. The color was kind of a golden/green, but they resembled the mannerism of a large cat as they felt ominous. It's hard to explain, but I shrugged it off as we were passing the tree and saw nothing. A few moments later, we arrived at the house. As we were getting bags out of the car, my 3-year-old son came bolting out of the house excited to see me. As I was waiting to help her carry in their bags, I heard my dog growl. I looked in the direction she was looking at my neighbor's property across the street. Now what I saw had kept me up all night. Up until this point, I've always been skeptical as I had never seen anything with my own 2 eyes, even with what just happened to me a year prior. I still had my doubts.
Firehouse subs, hook and ladder jingle, take one.
Hook and ladder, hey. And it's hot, it just tastes better. Want that smoky turkey. Wait, there's more to sing about. The sandwich is huge.
You gotta sing faster.
That it was just my mind playing tricks on me. Now my street is kind of spread out neighborhood. Each house sits on several acres, and at the end of our house is Kentucky Lake. My neighbor's house sits adjacent to my house on about an acre lot. Directly in front of my house is a wall of woods, and directly behind my house is several thousand acres of untouched forest. As I was looking across the street to my neighbor's property, I saw a large dark figure between the trees at first. The movement caught me off guard as it looked like something big moving quickly on all fours. That's when it came into clear view and it stood up and walked like a man.
Was it a black
guy? At first I didn't know what to make of it. It was very tall, but what was strange about it was the distance it was covering and the fact that when it was in front of its shed, I swear I could see through it. It was clearly walking quickly, but moving faster than any person could at sprint. More importantly, there was no sound. It was like it was phasing in and out of reality as it moved. I said, "What the hell is that?" and realized that it was looking directly at us. It had moved at an angle away from us to minimize its time out in the open and moving quickly as it could while still being silent. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up as I realized that whatever it was stalking us. I told my niece to get in the house now and grabbed my son and booked it inside. I grabbed my AR-15 with a short scope and came.
Why do we have to resort to guns every single time?
Came back outside to see my niece still grabbing stuff out of her car. Knowing I told her firmly and clearly to get in the house. Her disregard to my command annoyed me, but still I watched over her without saying a word. As she was slowly walking, she turned towards the woods across the street from my house and suddenly bolted for the house. She ran up the steps in a panicked state. I asked her what she saw, and her face was pale as a ghost. She said, "I heard something big in the woods, walking loudly on the leaves, and when I turned towards it, I heard a deep guttural growl." I asked her why she didn't come when I told her, and she said that she thought I was talking to my son. I told her what I had seen, and she wanted to get a closer look to see if she could see something. I told her that it was not a good idea, and she went anyway. As she was walking down the walkway, I heard the sound of dry leaves crunching in the woods across the street. I told her to stop and come take my flashlight. Now at this point, she is about 6 feet away from my wife's SUV. As she turned and started walking back to me, I caught a glimpse of something gray and hairy. Bolts from behind the SUV back across the street into the woods. My porch is a raised porch, and our SUV is about 6.5 feet tall. And whatever this was, it cleared about 45 feet.
Screw this, dude. We're listening to some Playboy Cardi.
Prince apart from...
You've been accused of plagiarizing your master's thesis. If you tell the truth, you...
This is a big song, big satanic. Like, I like... like, there's not like a middle. You feel me? There's Cardi, a Satanist.
I sat down, crust, turning my neck, shut him up. I sat down, crust, turning my neck, shut him up.
Alright, man, before I get copyrighted.
Feet in what looked like a single jump. It moved like lightning. Whatever it was wanted my niece. It jumped behind the car out of my line of sight and was waiting for her. She still doubted my warnings and grabbed the flashlight and walked down towards the car. As she entered my driveway, she stopped dead in her tracks, leaned forward as if she could see something. I asked her what she saw. She turned and ran back up on the porch with a terrified look on her face, saying, "Nope, nope, nope," over and over again. She said it was a figure hiding inside of a tree and that she saw its eyes. I asked her what they looked like, and all she could say was that they looked like a dull red at first, but as she got closer, they looked dead. I said, "What do you mean dead?" And she said that their pupils look gray, like their way eyes look when they're blind. She said it was a really dark gray, and she swears she could see through it, almost like a dark cloud. She wanted to go again, and took a step down the stairs, and as she did, it revealed itself in the tree. I said get inside and went in and locked the door. It looked like a tall, human-shaped being. It was really tall and looked ominous as hell. The next morning, we did a height comparison to the tree limb. She saw it stand over, and it put its height around 9 feet tall, and its eyes were about 6 inches apart. At this point, I don't know what this thing was. After doing some research, I think this was a Glimmerman/crawler. I looked to see if there had been any other sightings.
What is this dude talking about, bro? Bro, what is this dude talking about? Of course it's a Reddit story, bruh. Sorry. I had to cough. Bro. Bro, that is not real, bro. Huh. Talk to me.
In Bennington County, but nothing. More importantly, I swear it would phase in and out almost like a shadow person.
Alright. Let me get something real.
There's something wrong with you. Bellevue, that's it.
You just gotta feel the music, you feel me? I'm terrified. Chris?
When I was 21 years old, I would be home alone at my parents' house a lot. We lived on a little pond which was directly in our backyard. On the other side of the pond was a little town park. Our neighbors were a bit spaced out. It was a pretty upscale, expensive block compared to the rest of the town, so the properties were big. I'm fully moved out now, but this was back when I was in college. My parents make a lot of money, and we have multiple homes, so often I was home alone. It was a random night in the summertime. I was off from school, so I can't remember if it was a weekend or a weekday. But odds are, since I was home, it was a random weekday. I was in the back sunroom watching a show. That was my favorite room in the house in the summer because it was the most cozy and had the best breeze with all the windows open. I was right on the corner of the couch, closest to the corner window, when I heard splashing from outside, like in the pond. It could have been a goose or duck. Sometimes they'd fight in the water and make a bunch of splashing sounds. So at first I ignored it, but as it persisted, I decided to lower...
Okay, imagine this, alright? You get home from school. You have Hot Pockets on the table. You're sitting on your couch playing Peak Chapter 2 Season 2 Fortnite. All the boys are online. Then, just then, you hear fighting. A duck and a goose are having a battle to the death in your pond. And you get to record it and watch it and send it to everybody. Tell me that is not fire. Wait, hold up. We still probably on it.
Lower the volume on the TV and listen. I put my ear up to the window even, and I heard consistent splashing sounds, way too heavy to be from a duck or goose. It sounded like they were splashes from a person. I opened the door in the sunroom and stepped outside to the deck. I looked out to the pitch darkness of the backyard. I now heard a man's humming along with the splashes. Someone was definitely swimming in the water. They were trespassing. Each house on the pond owned a specific chunk of the pond. I stepped inside for a second to flick on the lights to the backyard deck. As I did this, just a bit of the pond was exposed, and the splashes and humming stopped. Whoever it was clearly saw me. I wondered if it was one of the neighbors going for a swim or something, which also just seemed weird because no one really swam in the pond ever. But honestly, whether it was or wasn't a neighbor, I wasn't going to confront whoever it was. I stepped back inside and turned off the lights, of course locking the door as well. I texted my brother, who was away at college, about it. He didn't answer right away. Kind of hard. I couldn't focus on the show. I looked out the window, but all I could see outside was darkness. I still had the TV on in the background, not realizing how revealing the light from the TV would be outside. And then, I thought I heard something on the deck. I hurried to find the remote and turn off the TV, and as the room went black and silent, it took me a few seconds to adjust, and realize that there was the sound of someone's heavy breathing right outside one of the many windows in the room.
Yeah, dog. Yeah.
I instantly laid down flat on the couch to try and hide myself, and after a short moment of silence, a deep voice from outside the window said, "I see you." My heart dropped into my stomach. I couldn't decide in the moment whether to speak or keep hiding, so I just blurted out, "Paul, is that you?" Paul was the name of one of our neighbors. I said this, clinging on to the hope that maybe it was him, and he was just messing with me. But the man outside didn't respond to this. I just heard footsteps walking away. As the barefoot-sounding footsteps faded to silence, I still laid flat on the couch, too afraid to move. I laid for a few minutes, before the thought to go check that all the doors were locked came to mind. I exploded off the couch and ran straight for the front door. It was locked, as was the side entrance door. After a little while longer and texting my entire family about what was going on, my dad told me to turn the backyard lights on and check if anyone was still out there. He basically told me to be the man of the house and protect it. So I listened and checked the back deck through the window. It was clear. I brought a big knife outside with me onto the deck, and I looked down. There were wet footprints that had
Woo! Oh yeah! That was the best decision I think I've ever seen in any horror movie ever.
half dried by then, but I could tell that they were barefoot footprints. I followed the trail of footprints around to the side part of the deck, and what I saw was nightmare fuel. The top part of someone's head, namely their eyes and forehead, was peering just over the edge of the deck from the ground below, looking at me as if he heard me coming and was waiting. As we made eye contact, he turned away, and by now I was ready to call 911. I did so before even telling my parents. I locked myself inside, waiting for them, and when they came, I felt instantly better. They asked if our family had any enemies or people who don't like us, or if we have any problem neighbors. Questions like this. They did do a quick sweep of the property and then left. I decided to shut every window that night and run the air conditioning just for added safety. When I awoke the next morning, I was just delighted to see sunlight. I don't believe that man ever returned to our house, and we still don't know who it could have been.
That's actually crazy.
I have a dog who I take for a walk 3 times a day. First in the morning, then...
Yeah. I love my dog, right? My dog is 3 times a day is a tad bit a day.
And in the afternoon, and finally at night. I take him on the same route every time, which is through our driveway exit, which leads to a cul-de-sac parking lot for the condominium complex we live in. This will make sense soon as to why I'm telling you this. On the night walk, I always go somewhat late. I'm not sure why, but it's been a habit ever since I've had him, and it's never been a problem for us. Until one night, I begin our final walk of the day and go our usual route. I have a flashlight with me as there are no lights at the parking lot, and I'm listening to music with only one AirPod as I feel it would be for the best just in case I heard something unusual. And I did. As I'm approaching the parking lot, I was hearing something. A voice of some kind that was up ahead of me, but I was completely zoned out in my own world of music as it was happening. But then my mind finally caught up, and I stopped. I took the AirPod out and stood still to listen, just to see if I was only hearing things. And then it happened again, a voice that spoke ahead of me, but I couldn't see anyone. So I did the stupid thing and continued to carefully walk forward because I thought it was all in my head. But something didn't feel right about it. I stopped again after a few feet, right next to where all of the cars were parked, and I had my flashlight pointed everywhere in front of me. I stayed listening, and the creepiest thing that has ever happened to me yet was hearing a muffled voice of what sounded like a kid say the word help. My heart dropped so fast I couldn't move my legs. I frantically pointed my flashlight everywhere to see where it was coming from. I was sure it was coming from the cars, but I was completely thrown off by this. But there wasn't a kid in sight, or anyone nearby. It was just me and my dog, who didn't seem to notice anything as he was just sniffing some bushes nearby. And then I heard it again. The word help was spoken 3 more times, and it was coming from my left side where the cars were parked. It made me panic even more. I didn't know what to think of it, and I knew I wasn't imagining this when I saw my dog's ears perked up, and he was looking in the same direction I was facing after it happened. And that's when it hit me about how incredibly eerie all of this was. After hearing it multiple times, I realized the kid's voice didn't sound entirely like a kid. I don't know how to explain it. It was like the mix of an adult and a child at the same time. And each time they called for help, not only was the voice always muffled, but it was spoken in a more generic statement as opposed to a cry for actual help every time. And I mean that literally. There was absolutely no change in the tone, inflection, sound, or anything of sorts. My dog and I ran straight home afterwards. I tried to explain to my mom what happened. She was puzzled herself about what it could have been, and I suggested we call the cops on the off chance that there was actually someone in need of help, but she didn't think it was necessary. So many questions were conjuring up in my head. Why was the voice muffled? Was there someone in the car that I couldn't see? Or was it something darker waiting for me to move closer? I don't like to think too much about it, but whatever it was, it still makes me feel extremely disturbed to this day. This picture is where I had stopped and taken my AirPods out to listen. I heard it up ahead on the left. This is where I had gotten closer and heard it on my left side. I'm aware that there's a condo complex on the right side, which some may think the noise was coming from, but it was in this direction facing the cars where my dog and I heard it. And you could see from this point of view that there's nothing to really indicate a noise coming from somewhere else. Also, at the time this happened, the cars that were parked were trucks and SUV types, so they were a lot larger and covering more space, thus making it harder to see from where I was standing. I never figured this out. What I'm about to tell you is the reason why my parents moved out of a house that was in the family for 3 generations. I've struggled with depression most of my life. It's hard for me to shake the feeling of being useless. I'm doing much better now, but when I was a kid, it was horrible. Because of that, I spent a lot of time alone in my room. My house was nestled in a very woodsy area. There were trees on 3 sides of it and a forest separating it from any neighbors. My room was pretty big for a bedroom. It was in the back corner of the house, so the windows on 2 walls faced the woods. It was honestly pretty scary for a kid my age. It didn't help that I was also scared of the dark. Things started happening when I was around 10 or so. I was in the 5th grade, and I was at the age where it wasn't acceptable to sleep in my parents' bed after a nightmare, but I was still accused of having an active imagination. The first thing I noticed was my nightlight. It had different color settings, so if I wanted, I could change the LED around. I liked keeping it on red, which is what I fell asleep to most nights.
You're insane.
One night, though.
You're insane. You are insane. You're insane. No, you're actually geeked. The only thing you're allowed to fall asleep to is blue or purple. Never red. Never. Bro, what are you talking about?
I woke up randomly in the middle of the night, which was unusual for me. I was really tired and fell back asleep in under a minute, but before I did, I noticed that my nightlight was a different color than the red I always left on. I didn't think much of it until about a week later. One morning, I woke up and realized my nightlight was once again not set to red like it always was. I asked my parents why they were messing with my nightlight, but they were confused and told me they didn't know what I was talking about. I explained what had happened to them, and they told me that the thing had always been glitchy. They knew best, so I accepted that answer for a while. At least until one morning after waking up to see my nightlight unplugged completely. It was just sitting there on the floor. Once again, my parents dismissed my concern and told me my brain should be focused on school. My dad said I was getting too old for a nightlight anyway. A few days later, my nightlight was missing completely. It had seemingly evaporated out of existence. Now I knew my parents were lying to me. They probably thought I should have outgrown the nightlight by then and took matters into their own hands. This incident caused a massive fight between them and I since both of us accused the other of hiding it, and neither of us was budging. I couldn't believe my parents would blatantly lie to me about something like this, but there was nothing I could do. After that, things went back to normal for a week. That didn't last long though. 3 nights in a row, I woke up randomly in the middle of the night. Each time, I had no idea what was waking me up. After it happened a 4th time in a row, I told my parents. They told me that I was going through puberty and that changes to my body are natural. The next time it happened, I stayed awake instead of falling back asleep. A few minutes after I woke up, I heard faint rustling noises from my closet. My parents didn't believe me.
Yeah.
My dad even checked my closet, and there was nothing in there besides old toys and posters. The next 4 days remained the most traumatizing nights I've ever experienced in my life. I'd been woken up only to hear rustling in my closet.
Tee up.
It was torture. I couldn't take it anymore. I begged my parents to believe me, and my dad got angry. He dragged me to my closet to prove there was nothing in there. He started throwing toys around my room, clearing the closet bit by bit, yelling at me the whole time. That is, until he pulled one of the posters off the wall. My mother and father stared in horror at the massive hole in the wall the posters had concealed.
Ha!
My mom started screaming, and my dad pulled out a flashlight. The hole was way too deep to see where it led, so my dad ran outside and began inspecting the outside of the house. There was a tiny hole in the dirt at the base of the house, and a little digging revealed that it was more than a divot. It was literally a passageway from the woods to my room. My mom and I were out of the house that night to my aunt's house. We moved out shortly after this. I stayed at my aunt's house until we did. I don't like thinking about this experience, but I'm gonna have to face it eventually. My parents also refused to talk about this incident, and I think it's partly because they feel some blame for not taking me seriously. It's chilling to think that there was a stranger in my room every night for over a month. I have no idea what they wanted, and will probably never know. If your kids come to you with something that sounds abnormal, believe them.
Clearly he didn't want to, like, hurt you. If he wanted to hurt you, he'd do it already.
My name is Leo. To be completely honest with you, I'm a little lost in life right now. I won't get into it too much, but all you need to know is that my family situation is horrible. For the past 3 years, I've tried to stay as far away from home as possible. My close friends from high school have been changing in ways I don't like, and I feel like my hometown has nothing to offer me anymore. I'm about to be a senior in college, and to be completely honest, I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with my life after that. Enough with the sob story, though. I was in Berlin last year for whatever reason, probably searching for a sense of place or trying to find a direction in life. I remember the name of the bar I was in, Reduya. I was there alone, nothing I'm not used to. I was getting ready to leave when I felt around my pocket and realized my apartment keys were missing. Just my luck. I stumbled out of the bar and began walking toward my apartment anyway. The whole thing was locked up. There was no way I was getting in there, and it was way too late at night to get a replacement set. I'm not sure what most people would do in a situation like this, but my first thought was to start looking for a place to sleep. As if my luck wasn't bad enough, it started raining. Eventually, I decided to sleep under a nearby bridge. I didn't even know where I was, but I was out of the rain and safe, so I was happy. As I was drifting off, I began picking up on some faint voices coming from across the river. I sat back up and saw what looked like 5 men standing on the opposite side of the river, along with a little boat that was tied off. They didn't seem to notice me. It took me less than a minute to realize what I was watching. There was an honest-to-God drug dealer or something going down right in front of me. My German isn't great, so I wasn't really able to make out what they were saying, but several briefcases and duffel bags were exchanging hands, so I filled in the blanks myself. I thought about finding a new spot, but I didn't want to draw attention to myself by moving. I figured I'd just wait for this to be over, then leave. All of a sudden, one of the men yelled something aggressively in German and pointed a gun at one of the other men. There was a brief moment of silence before the other guy put his hands up and began talking really quickly. It looked like he was being set up. The other men stripped the man at gunpoint of his clothing and started confiscating his belongings. I didn't feel safe there anymore and got up slowly to move. As I did, I heard one of the men shout what roughly translates to, "There's someone there."
Run.
I started running, not even turning to look at them.
Run up on the twice. Run up on the
They
post
shouted
2
more
times.
things at me,
2 times.
but the only words I was able to understand were, "Don't shoot." I ran until I threw up and nearly passed out due to drunken exhaustion. There was no way they'd be able to catch me. They could have easily killed me. Sometimes I still think about how I could have lost my life that night if those men had decided to fire at me. Sometimes I feel like I'm fated to run forever.
When it comes to getting to market in a more quick manner, Popular Pays helps us move quickly and efficiently. As we all know, social media moves really quickly.
It was a normal Friday afternoon at my high school. I was walking down a hallway with my friend Emma as she talked about God knows what. I was just trying to get through the day because I honestly had a lot to deal with at home as well as at school, being that my foster parents weren't the nicest people, to say the least. As we walked past the lunchroom, I suddenly had to use the bathroom. I asked Emma if she had to go. She said no and that she would wait outside for me. I went into the bathroom and immediately noticed no one else was in there. I thought to myself, that was weird, because out of the multiple bathrooms in the school, this one was always packed at any given time. I shrugged it off and went into a stall, and a few seconds after getting in the stall and sitting down, I heard the bathroom entrance door open and shut abruptly and someone entering the bathroom, but I didn't hear them move after entering. I didn't think anything of this. It wasn't really anything out of the ordinary. Maybe it was someone hiding from an admin. I went about my business. I stood up to button my jeans and read the writing on the bathroom wall. It was a bunch of random quotes and rants about teachers. Then I heard the door open again, and I assumed whoever was in here had left. I came out of the stall, and as I left the bathroom, Emma was looking at me with a weird face, almost like a "what the hell did I just see" face. I asked her what was up.
That's an amazing haircut. Oh my gosh, it's so great. It's so amazing.
I got chills.
Oh my.
I told her no one was in the stall with me and to stop fucking with me. She promised me she wasn't. She told me she actually came in seconds before I came out because she realized she did need to go. But then she saw someone else in the stall, standing with their shoes touching the back of mine. That's how close they were behind me in the stall. And she said she left immediately, not wanting to witness whatever was going on. I reiterated again I was the only one in the stall. However, I had heard someone come in, but I never heard them use the bathroom, and I had assumed they were hiding from an admin. That's when she told me no one went near the door until she came in seconds before I came out. I didn't believe in the paranormal, but this made my stomach sink. I found an admin and told her about it, and she pretty much tried to assure me that it didn't happen, that Emma was probably just messing with me. But Emma was never one to take things seriously or be serious in general, so when she looked me in the eyes with a serious face and told me word for word what she saw, I felt like it actually happened, and something really was in there with me, along with the fact that I heard the bathroom door open and close twice. I'm 18 now, and I haven't forgotten it since.
That's a little too deep. That's not even scary for real.
This happened long ago when I was renting a small house in the town that I got my first real big girl job at. It was a small one-floor house with 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and just enough living space for myself and occasionally hosting some people. I had been living there for a few weeks already. All was fine. The landlord, who I'll just call Michelle, was really friendly and understanding. I think she rented to me because she didn't want a male renting out her house. I'll skip unnecessary details and get right to the point. Something very weird started happening a few weeks into living there. One regular work night, I got a knock at the door. I went to the other side and said, "Who is it?" and no one responded. I didn't open it. No one should be knocking on my door late at night. It was early the next morning. I had finished getting ready for work and was about to leave. I opened my front door and saw a big post-it note taped to the storm door. It said, "Hello, beautiful." I right away remembered the knocks on the door from last night. It was no doubt the same person, but the big question was, who could it be? I crumpled it out of disgust and threw it in the trash, hoping and assuming it would be a one-and-done thing.
Dude, imagine that
It was that night that I got another knock at the door.
Dude, imagine that was like a quiet kid who worked up all his courage for months just trying to do that for you. And you do this. And then you know what that does to him? That makes him angry. And he has access to weapons in his home. So you know what he does? He ends it all. How would you feel? How would you feel if he just the himself? He just himself. How would you feel? How would that make you feel? Alright.
This time a little earlier, while I was cooking dinner, I went over to the door, this time not saying anything, just listening. There was no peephole or glass to look through to the other side. I had no way of seeing who was there without opening the door, and that wasn't going to happen, as the storm door didn't lock. But this was the second night in a row, and now I was realizing this was some kind of stalker situation. I called my mom and dad to ask for advice, and really, they didn't even know what to say. My dad, who was a retired police officer, said that if I called the cops, they wouldn't really be of any help unless they were catching the person in the act. My dad advised me to not go outside late at night for a while, don't answer the door, and if it persists, that he'd come to town and spend a few days with me. So that was the advice I followed. The next morning, the first thing I did was check the storm door for another note, and part of me died inside when I saw another note stuck to the glass. This one said, "I like to watch you." I took a picture of...
Okay, now we're stretching just a tad. Now you're just a wee bit out of there.
...with my phone and sent it to not only my family, but Michelle as well. I asked Michelle if she had any kinds of issues with certain men or any stalkers. She acted appalled and shocked when I sent her a picture of the note and told her about the knocks. She assured me that she didn't have any stalkers and that she was in a long-term relationship. Still, I wasn't entirely convinced. I left a note on the door after work that day, saying if you're looking for Michelle, she does not live here. She only rents this house out. If you continue to come here, I will be reporting this to the police. Doing this gave me a level of comfort, actually. I thought this would end things. That night, every waking minute was spent with anxiety, worrying about hearing knocks at the door again. To my relief, there were none tonight. I went to sleep in relative peace, thinking my note worked. The next morning, I opened the door and removed my note from the glass, but then realized it wasn't my note. It was a new note, and it said, "I'm not looking for Michelle, I'm looking for you." And then it said my name, followed with, "I like watching you," like it said in the previous note. I sent it to my dad right away. I felt seriously ill. My dad packed a bag and drove up first thing. He was at my house by the time I got home from work. Work that day was
crash my car
I couldn't think of anything except for this
standing on the
horrific
gas with
situation.
no seatbelt.
I even wondered if someone in my office could have been doing this, like this creepy guy Fernando. My dad and I waited to call the police together until later in the night when we figured whoever was doing this may be hiding out there already. We wanted them to see the police presence. We spoke with an officer outside. My dad said it must have been a busy night since they only sent one. My dad, being a retired police officer, obviously didn't hurt in this whole situation. After the officer left with his report, my dad stayed out on the front stoop for hours, even after I went to sleep. Obviously the person didn't return that night, and I moved out once I was able to pack all my things. Michelle was completely understanding. Thankfully, whoever was stalking me at that house didn't follow me to my new place, likely eliminating the possibility that it was a coworker. So I will likely never know who it was.
Honestly, low-key, I'd just get a Ring doorbell camera. Alright, last one that I'm getting off.
I'll be honest with you, I've probably spent more time chasing women than I'd like to admit. I've had to tone it down a lot since college, partly because of what I'm about to tell you. I went to school in California, and while I haven't been back in a while, when I was there, the culture was very open. And when I say open, I mean sexual. This honestly could have been true for other colleges in other states at the time, but I really wouldn't know.
What college?
It was my sophomore year,
What
and I had
college?
just finished pledging the fraternity Pike.
What
About halfway through the semester, though, I was getting sick of only talking to sorority girls that seemed to know half the guys in every frat.
Playtime's over. Ready up! On me!
It was honestly a little gross, and I started developing a fear that every girl I was interested in had been with several people I personally knew. I tried my luck and created a Tinder profile. It wasn't long before I matched with someone whose interests seemed to match mine. We started talking, and things were going well. After a few days, we made plans to meet up at a local college bar called Tap House on a Saturday night. This was actually my favorite bar in the area because it had pool tables, and I had been clearing racks since I was 10 years old. I remember getting there a little early so I could secure a table and warm my muscles up a bit. An hour passed, though, and I came to terms with the fact that I had probably been stood up. I was trying to decide whether I should salvage the night or just go home and play online chess when I got a notification. To my surprise, it was Yamel, the girl I was waiting on, telling me she had just arrived. I greeted her, and she apologized for being late. We got some drinks, played some pool, and got to know each other. She was Latina and a heavy drinker, so I got plastered just trying to keep up.
Okay.
At one point, she asked for my Instagram, which I gave to her. 10 seconds later, I found myself staring at a collection of explicit photos she had just sent me. I was confused, but in my drunken state, I wasn't going to complain. Before I could even respond, she told me, "Your turn," which I figured could only mean one thing. Honestly, if I hadn't been so drunk, I probably would have questioned why we were sending pictures to each other when we were literally 5 feet apart, but I didn't have the foresight. I complied with her request. We laughed about the whole thing, and that was that. A few hours later, things at the bar were starting to wind down. I was planning on inviting her to my place, but she beat me to it, asking if I could spend the night at hers. I agreed, and we left the bar. I couldn't even walk in a straight line. It was honestly embarrassing. We Ubered to her apartment, which was actually in Oakland, something I hadn't realized before. Honestly, red flags should have been going off in my brain the moment we crossed into Oakland. She unlocked the door of her apartment and stepped aside so I could go first. I took a few steps inside and heard the door shut behind me.
That's a setup. That's a setup. I've been around and I've seen too many things. I was already thinking, like, in my head, oh, this is a setup, this is a setup. But that proved it. This is a setup. She takes you back to Oakland. California people, is Oakland like the hood of California? So, like, she takes you back to Oakland. Takes you into the... She's getting set up, bro.
It was pitch black in there.
Oh, yeah, he's getting set up.
As I was turning around to ask her to flip some lights on, the room lit up. To my horror, I wasn't facing a harmless 5'2" girl anymore.
Grown men.
Instead, 2 massive bald dudes with tank tops were standing in front of the door with their hands clasped.
Massive bald dudes with tank tops.
I turned around, and there was another white bald dude in front of me. I wish I could tell you more about the room I was in, but it was honestly difficult for me to recall small details of that night. I couldn't fight or flee, so I just froze. The guy in front of me began telling me my own name, birthday, and age.
Oh, boy.
He then went on to say that the girl I had just gone out with was 17, meaning I had...
Not like this. Not like this.
Had received and sent explicit pictures to a minor. He then suggested that I do what I was told, which I did. The 2 guys behind me confiscated my phone, wallet, and keys, all of which I gave up without a fight. I asked the guy in front of me what he wanted, and he basically told me that he was a major distributor of illicit substances in Northern California. He told me that I'd be outed as a pedophile if I didn't distribute his product to my fraternity and university. I wish I could remember more specifics. The 2 men behind me then gave me a piece of paper and told me to write down my address, followed by a list of names and numbers for as many students as I knew. I told them that I'd need my phone to complete the list, so one of them held it firmly in front of me and let me scroll through. All 3 of them were hovering over me now, knowing I was basically checkmated. I don't know what compelled me to do it, but the literal second I saw a chance, I ran. I was too drunk to think about the consequences of those pictures on my phone. I narrowly escaped out the door I had entered from and ran as fast as I possibly could. It's not like I was safe though. I was still smack dab in one of the most dangerous places in America. Eventually, I found a nice looking house and begged them to open up. I pleaded with them to let me use their phone and call 911, and then I told the police everything. But of course, I didn't remember the address of that girl's apartment. an officer picked me up and took down a report before asking me if I would be okay leading them back to that apartment. I was actually able to retrace the way I had run, and I waited in one of the squad cars as the police barged in. After a few minutes, an officer told me that the place was completely deserted and there were not any signs that people had even been there. In the following weeks, the police actually took my report seriously and launched a full-scale investigation. They concluded that it was probably gang-related, but were never able to arrest anyone. That was years ago. I bet this incident has been swept under the rug of Oakland's rampant crime and drug-related activity. In all honesty, what happened to me all those years ago is probably nowhere near the top of the list when it comes to that godforsaken place. I haven't used a dating app since.
The lady you were just with is 18.
I've been smoking cigarettes every day for years. Before you judge me, let me just say that I recently started seeing a therapist for my nicotine addiction. Unfortunately, it hasn't helped much. The only thing worse than my nicotine addiction is my sleep schedule. I don't know what it is. I find myself staying up hours past midnight and rarely get out of bed before noon. While I'm trying to fix these parts of my life, they're extremely relevant to what I'm about to tell you. It began a few months ago. I was standing on my balcony like I do most nights, smoking a cigarette. I live in a really secluded neighborhood. It's not like the houses around here are right next to each other. Despite this, I have a neighbor whose fence I can see over if I'm standing on my balcony. I'm not nosy or anything, but this particular night, I was looking into his yard. I had never met the guy, but I assumed he lived alone since there was only ever a navy blue BMW parked in his driveway. But not this night, though. There was a black van I'd never seen before sitting in front of his house. I didn't make anything of it, just noting the coincidence to myself. The next night, though, I made it a point to pay attention to his yard, and the same black van was parked there again. I didn't assume something sinister was going on. I was more intrigued than anything. The following morning, I went up to my balcony and looked into his yard. The van was gone. For the remainder of the week, I made a game out of observing the van at night, theorizing its purpose. I said I wasn't nosy, but I sure am obsessive. It's actually the main reason most of my friends drifted out of my life. I wasn't going to do more than observe, though. It wasn't my business or place to poke around further. That is, until one night, when I saw something that completely changed my perspective of the situation. I was up later than usual. It was maybe 5 in the morning. The van was there, as it had been the past.
When things get busy, we stay late to finish the job.
Make sure the shelves are stocked.
Ohio workers earn their overtime.
But Bernie Moreno ripped off his employees.
A court ruled that he stole overtime.
How could we trust Moreno?
I'm sure Brown and I approve this message.
Past several nights.
I don't talk about
I was smoking my last cigarette when my neighbor actually walked outside, something I hadn't seen yet. I watched as he made his way to the van, carrying what appeared to be a long black bag. It almost looked like a set of golf clubs, only much heavier. After opening the van's sliding door, he delicately placed the bag inside. He promptly got in the driver's seat and sped off. I was dumbfounded. I had absolutely no idea what he could have been carrying. I was exhausted though, so I figured I'd think about it more the next morning. The next day, I decided that I'd go out on my balcony a little earlier and wait for the van to arrive at his house. I brought my laptop up there so I could get some work done and wait. It was around 10 p.m. and the van wasn't in the driveway, but around 1 a.m. the van pulled in. I quickly shut my laptop and watched. Nothing happened for a good several minutes, like the van just sat there, engine running and all. After about 5 minutes, the driver door opened and there he was. I watched as he went around to the side of the van, then slid the door open and pulled out the same bag that he had put in the night before. He seemed to be struggling this time around, visibly trying not to crack under the weight of whatever was in there. After waddling a few slow steps, both he and the bag disappeared into his house. I didn't know what to think. I thought about waiting there until 5 a.m. again, but that would be far too taxing on my brain. Something was definitely wrong though, and I was determined to find out what. The next morning, I flipped a coin and ultimately decided to follow his van when he pulled out that night. After a pretty unproductive day, I went up to my balcony around 4 a.m. and waited, cigarette in hand. As soon as I saw movement in his driveway, I rushed downstairs, grabbed my keys, and got in my car. I turned my headlights off and waited for the van to turn onto the main road. Once it did, I began tailing it. After 20 minutes of driving, he pulled onto a dirt path that looked like it led into the woods. It did. I followed, and the woods actually started thinning up a bit. It seemed like this path had once been a main road or something. We drove for another few minutes before I realized what his destination was. There was a deserted gas station literally tucked away in some clearing in the woods. Right in front of it was the BMW I'd always seen parked in his driveway. I feared I was getting too close, so I turned my car around and parked across the street from the dirt road. I must have waited there an hour. His BMW finally pulled out of the clearing. Nervously, I started driving back up the path, not sure what I'd find. I pulled over on the side of the road and started walking towards the gas station. It was eerie. The front door was locked. I walked around to the side. That was locked as well. So was the back door. I needed to know what was inside. There was a row of windows that I tried to open, but none of them would budge. Against my better judgment, I picked up a rock and slammed it into one of the windows. It shattered pretty easily, but there must have been a security system in that place because alarm bells started blaring. I sprinted back to my car, the whole time wondering why an abandoned gas station would be rigged with an alarm system. As I sped out of there, I called 911 and gave them a vague description before hanging up. I got back to my house and ran inside, my heart still racing. The next morning, I woke up hoping the whole thing had blown over. Boy, was I wrong. I went up to my balcony to see like 8 police cars in my neighbor's driveway, lights flashing and everything. I watched as an officer escorted my neighbor out of his house in handcuffs. One by one, the police cars drove away and I was left to my imagination.
Bro, what did
I
he
lit a
do?
cigarette and stood there, finally alone with my thoughts. I've asked the police for details on several occasions, but they would never answer my questions. I've even tried driving back up to that gas station, but the whole road had been blocked off.
Dude.
Maybe one day I'll work up the courage to walk through the woods and go looking for answers.
Dude, they don't do 8 cops for nothing, bro. That had to be like a murder.
I'm not somebody who grew up with any kind of sleep disorders, such as sleep paralysis or night terrors. I've always been a very heavy sleeper, so that's why when what I'm about to tell you started happening, it was a shock to me. We all have the occasional nightmare. I used to call nightmares a free, 3D immersive horror movie. To most, that will probably sound freakish, but in a weird way, I sometimes like the thrill of waking up after a nightmare. I was living with my one roommate, Patricia. I just called her Trish. We had very different schedules with work, so we didn't see each other much besides on the weekends. This happened in July. I remember because it was so hot out that I had the window AC unit on full blast every night, which also provided a white noise that helped me sleep better. It was the first night that I had the nightmare, a few days after my ex and I had broken up, and life wasn't exactly the best. I had a dream that I vaguely remember for the most part, but the part that I vividly remember is being in a room full of my family members sitting quietly around a dinner table, and standing across the table from me was what I could best describe to be a creature that looked like one of the aliens from the movie Signs, only with horns and claws. It looked like what you'd imagine a sleep paralysis demon to look like, only I was still fully asleep and dreaming. The next thing I knew, the thing was standing next to me, looking down at me. I started to run away in my dream until I was in my room, or I guess my brain's version of my room. That was the last of that dream I remember before waking up. My room was pitch black and the AC fan was on full blast. My heart was racing a bit from the dream, and I sat there thinking, wow, that was a creepy dream. I looked around the room naturally before laying back down and going to sleep. The following night, I woke up in the middle of the night to my bedroom door open, which I usually 99% of the time would leave shut unless I was drinking. My immediate thought was that it was Trish checking if I was home. I went up to go shut it and went back to sleep fairly quickly. I asked Trish if she came in my room the next day via text, and she told me she did not. So it was always possible I just took a midnight trip to the bathroom or kitchen that I didn't remember. It was the following night that I had another nightmare. That same demon creature from my previous dream appeared again in this one. This one was a lot more disturbing. Instead of being with my family, I was in a dark, square, empty room with the thing, and it kept getting closer to me. Oddly, I don't remember the thing actually moving its limbs to walk. I just remember that it kept getting closer and closer until it was on top of me. And then, like I couldn't even move, the thing took a claw to my thigh and scratched me, and I actually think I felt the pain in my dream. Then, the next thing I remember is waking up. I don't mean I woke up right after that. I mean I don't remember what happened after that in the dream. But it was dark in the room once again, AC on full blast. I felt a slight stinging feeling on my upper thigh. I felt it with my hand, and I actually felt like I felt something on the skin. I rushed to the bathroom and looked in the mirror, and I screamed out loud when I saw a gash in my thigh. I went to Trisha's room and turned on the light, waking her up. She asked how the fuck I got that, and I screamed I don't know. We went to my room together and flipped off all the sheets and covers off the bed, looking for any kinds of bugs or spiders or any sharp object I could have laid down on, which, yes, I understand makes no sense, but what else were we to think? Trish then looked at me and said, "Wait," and put her finger to her lip. She turned off my AC unit, and for the first time in days, the room went quiet. It all became sickeningly clear in an instant, as we both heard a sound from under my bed.
No!
The kind of faint sound that you sense from another person just existing in the room. I'm impressed at both of our ability to not scream right on the spot as we both looked at the bed and then at each other, and then left the room and then the apartment. We knocked on the neighboring apartment door until he answered. We asked him for help. Someone was in our apartment. He was an older guy, so I don't think we expected him to go fight some stranger in our apartment. He let us use his phone to call 911. At some point while waiting for the police, we heard a door outside slam shut. It sounded like our door. None of us could look out the window in time to see who it was. When the police got there, we confirmed the intruder was gone. We did leave all the lights on in the apartment when we ran away though, and left in a rather sudden fashion, so the intruder definitely knew that we knew. And then came the reflection I had of my dreams, and what they actually meant. That demon in my dreams was supposed to be him, even in the first dream. And with my door being open that night, that means he or she may have been roaming around our apartment at night, possibly eating our food. And to think this person actually scratched my thigh so hard it left a mark, it's actually really disturbing to think about. This forever changed my outlook on dreams and nightmares.
Are we talking about like the song? The Meek Mill song?
This happened when I was a little kid living in our old house in Suffolk County, Long Island. I'm gonna say I was about 6 or 7 years old. My older brother and I shared a bedroom on the top floor that used to be a separate apartment that my dad rented out to an old lady, but she moved out, and so the upstairs was mainly for my older brother and I at that point. The layout was as follows. At the top of the stairs, on the left was our bedroom, which used to be the old woman's living room. Straight ahead was the bathroom, and to the right was an extra kitchen and a small bedroom. We had a million toys in our room, as the room itself was huge, and it also had 2 parallel crawl-in closets on opposite sides of the room where we stored a million other toys and board games and stuff like that. There was one toy though, a race car with a bunch of buttons on it. The buttons would make the car's lights turn on momentarily and play varying sound effects such as honking, revving, and driving sounds, and a little rock song. It was a toy we had for like ever, because it was originally a gift from my brother when he was a little younger. It was a random night. My brother and I were both in bed, not yet asleep, when suddenly, like a jump scare from a scary movie, the loud revving sound of that car toy suddenly activated, along with the lights of the car in the middle of the room. I looked at the car and instantly got scared and accused my brother Luke of doing that to scare me. He was laughing hysterically, saying he didn't do it. I was completely terrified. The toy then stopped making noises and went quiet. I was extremely unsettled, as any little kid would be, but nevertheless, time marched on and I fell asleep. It wasn't for a while until something else happened. One night, when Luke and I were both in bed again, we both heard a weird thud in the room. Luke insisted on trying to creep me out, saying there was a ghost in the room or something, and I kept yelling at him to shut up or I'd get Mom. He kept laughing until we both noticed a light in the corner of the room. It was the toy car again. I got out from the bed and ran straight down the stairs yelling for my mom. I got to my parents' room and yelled there's something in our room. I'm sure I gave a little 7-year-old spiel about how there's a ghost in the room, hearing a thud and the lights on the toy car turning on. Luke entered the room, and my mom defaulted to telling him to knock it off if he's trying to scare me. He said how could he turn the lights of the car on from his bed? I slept in my parents' room that night because I was too scared to sleep upstairs. It was a long while after that night and nothing happened. Not until one night. Luke was not in the room. My guess is he was having a sleepover with one of his many friends. I was sleeping in the room by myself that night. I had long since tucked that car away in the small bedroom across the hall because it freaked me out. After my mom kissed me goodnight, I asked her to keep the door open since I was always scared when I was alone in the room. I rolled on my side and tried to go to sleep. But being that I was scared of being alone, I had a hard time getting tired that night. I felt wide awake. Then, there was a sound I can't explain that came from down the hall. I flipped over to face the door, and the toy car rolled into the room with its lights on. I let out a scream straight from the bottom of my stomach as I cried for my mom and pressed my body up against the wall. Moments later, my parents both came up the stairs into the room, noticing the car on the floor. I screamed that someone pushed the car into the room. My dad went to go check the other rooms, but said there was no one there. There weren't any places to hide up there besides the closets and under the beds, and my dad checked all of them. I don't know what my parents thought in that moment. On one hand, they probably thought the toy was malfunctioning or it's just my imagination. But on the other hand, I think they were also slightly freaked out. That toy car didn't have a feature to move on its own. My dad smashed the toy and threw it in the neighbor's trash to make me feel better. I slept in their room for a while until my dad forced me back upstairs eventually. This story is the reason why I believe in the paranormal and something after death.
Well, say, the thing is, what do you believe happens after death?
Make this a summer to share in one of our capable SUVs.
With all the equations.
Visit your local Kia dealer.
Get 0.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of select new 2024 Sportage and 2024...
Oh boy. I don't want to do this.
When I was a kid, before we lived in Texas, we lived in a home that had this huge backyard in Georgia that made me feel like the most popular kid in class. Anytime playing outdoor games or sports was ever an idea, my backyard would be the spot to go since we had a 2-acre backyard. The backyard was surrounded by woods on 3 sides. It also had many trees throughout the yard, a trampoline in one corner, a hot tub, a big detached 3-car garage, and an above-ground pool. For a middle-class area, we really had everything you could want in a backyard. There was enough open grass to play any sports, soccer, baseball, football, anything. We even played hide-and-seek tag, or manhunt as we would call it. One Friday when we were in like 6th grade, my friends and I wanted to have a camp-out sleepover in my backyard. It was Mike, other Mike, who I'll call Michael, and Jason. We all had to get our parents' permissions, of course, but we were like 11 or 12 and it was a Friday. None of our parents had any reason to say no. Plus, my family has lots of camping equipment, including 2 tents that could easily fit 2 of us in each one. After all of us got permission from our parents, we made arrangements for them to get to my house around 5 so we could play sports in the backyard. We had 2 mini soccer nets in the yard that we used to play soccer 2-on-2. We did that for like half an hour. Then we played baseball for another maybe half hour. And after just sitting around for a few minutes regaining our energy, my parents ordered pizza for us, so we ate around 6:30 or 7 if I had to guess. The sun was starting to go down a little bit now, so now came the time to set up the tents before it was too dark. I was pretty good with setting up tents because I was a Boy Scout and we just recently learned how to set up tents. My friends kind of helped, but I did most of the work. By the time they were done, it was decently dark out. The backyard lights were on, giving a nice glow. It was now dark enough for us to play our favorite game, Manhunt. There were a million spots to hide in the backyard. We played in pairs. It was Mike and I hiding first, and Michael and Jason would be hunting. Mike and I split up. Our goal was to get back to the home base point, which was the back door to the house. No camping by the door was allowed. The trampoline was in a far corner of the yard before the woods. I crawled under that to hide. When the hunters would start looking, they had to blow a whistle to let the hiders know they were starting. Once I heard the whistle, I stayed under the trampoline waiting it out, watching the 2 of them in the distance looking around. I was waiting for a good moment to creep closer to the back door. I had my sights on the hot tub, which was right next to the house. If I could make it over to hide behind the hot tub, I could straight line beeline it to the back door. So when both Michael and Jason had their backs to me looking in different areas of the backyard, I sprinted towards the hot tub, and just as I got right behind it and ducked down, I heard one of the trash bins on the side of the house almost topple over, and then I noticed the motion detecting light on the side turn on. The hot tub was by that corner of the house, but it wouldn't have triggered that light. I went to peer around the corner to the side yard, and I saw a tall person dressed in dark clothes speed walking away in the direction of the woods before entering the woods. It wasn't my dad. I ran to my friends and called the game off, then went to tell my dad about it. We came out and looked around the woods for a few minutes, and then checked the street for any unusual cars. Nothing and nothing. He said we should sleep inside tonight, which obviously bummed us out. We went inside and just played a game on my PlayStation. I again described to my friends what I saw, just some tall guy walking into the woods on the side of the house after apparently almost knocking over one of our trash bins. We talked about just going back outside and sleeping in the tents since they were already set up anyway. And plus, what were the odds whoever that was still out there hours later? After we finished playing our game, we went back outside quietly to not wake my dad up. It's not like we were hiding the fact that we were going back out there, but we didn't want to advertise it either. We each had a sleeping bag. Mike and I shared a tent, while Michael and Jason shared the other. After a while of joking around and yelling things between tents, we started to quiet down and try to go to sleep. I wasn't asleep yet, but it seemed like Mike was. I started hearing walking sounds in the grass nearby, approaching the tent, and then the zipper to the tent was unzipped, and I looked up and saw my dad looking inside the tent. He said, "What are you guys doing out here?" I replied to him something like, "They wanted to sleep out here, so we came back out." Then I took a closer look at the face peering into the tent. I realized it wasn't my dad, but some complete stranger who looked to be my dad's age. It looked like he was about to come in when I screamed bloody murder like a little girl. Everyone woke up, and Mike started to scream as well. The man grabbed our ankles and said to be quiet, but he gave up when he realized he was about to be exposed. He left the tent and disappeared. I told my friends to run inside the house, and as we were running to the house, my dad was already coming out the back door in response to our screams. I told him I don't know which way he went, but that the man from before was back. My dad ran around the yard, screaming and taunting the creep to come back if he has any balls. We heard it from inside the living room. My mom called the police, of course, and all that really happened when the police officer showed up was he took my recount of what happened, and I'm sure he made a police report, then left. It was good to have a police report at least, so that the cops would be aware of a creep going around. I'm not sure if that man ever came back to our property or not, or if he ever got in trouble for something similar. Either way, it was pretty traumatizing, and it could have gone much worse.
You want to play? Let's play. Excusez-moi. I know how to make an entrance.
Yeah.
Time to say goodbye.
This was back a few years, sometime in 2019. I was at a friend's house. I'll call her M for the sake of the story. I was pretty excited for this sleepover. I couldn't wait to talk about all the middle school drama. Now, something you might want to know is M's house was deep in the woods. I mean deep. Anywhere you looked, there was woods, and their nearest neighbor was about a half-mile away. But on the backside of her house was a cliff that led down to the ocean. The night at M's house started off pretty good. Our friend Sam was there too. We played Truth or Dare, Hide and Seek, and other teenage games. It was getting pretty late, but we decided to go on a walk down the gravel road that led to the other houses along the way. We asked her mom, and she said yes, so we started walking. After another 10 to 15 minutes, we saw a man who was walking on the other side of the street towards us. At first, we weren't thinking much. Maybe this dude was just taking an evening walk as well. But something that didn't seem right was that this man was wearing pretty thick clothing. I'm talking, it almost looked like snow gear. And not to mention, it was pretty warm out. At that moment, it was like 60 degrees outside. We all looked at each other as we passed the guy, and that's when it hit us. The stench. The disgusting smell coming off that guy.
Bro.
It was absolutely horrible. Words could not describe how disgusting that smell was. It was so bad that after we finally got a few feet away, my friend took a deep breath, almost like she had been holding it. One of my friends ran into the woods and almost threw up. At this point, we felt it was best to head back. Our friend who almost threw up was begging to go back anyway.
Yeah, go back.
We all agreed that it would be the best idea to head back. On our way back, we passed him again. This time we held our breath before we passed him. But when we looked back, we realized he was no longer walking in the opposite direction, but instead he was following us. This was really annoying. That disgusting smelling man was now bringing his stench even closer. We had no choice but to speed up our pace. We started speed walking. We still had about a mile to make it back to M's house. As we began to speed up, so did the random disgusting smelling dude.
Streaming?
Yeah.
We all looked at each other, scared and
Are you gonna
annoyed.
get on Valor now?
What's your Twitch?
Picked up our pace even more,
I'm not
What's your
streaming on
Twitch?
almost to the point where we were jogging. But of course, the man sped up even
Because
more.
Fortnite's so much
Now at this point, we were running. My friend Sam looked back, and then we heard it.
That's only what
Sam
Wilson
let out a
said.
blood-curdling scream as she looked back, which caused Em and I to look back as well.
Well, I'm gonna
What
play
we saw,
some
still to this day,
Overwatch.
absolutely horrifies me. This man was full-on sprinting at us. He had what looked like a knife or something sharp in his grasp.
Bro, Overwatch.
Em, Sam, and I started screaming
I
as we
don't-
were
I don't
sprinting
like
down the
playing
road.
it, but Overwatch is
Richard, bro, why have you sounded like this every single day for the past 6 years? Like, for the past
What do you
week,
mean?
every single time I've talked to you, you've sounded like, I'm gonna play some Overwatch. Because
It's
I
not that
wanna
bad, bro.
play... Yes, it is. I
No, it is
wanna
not.
play some Overwatch. It sounds like
Uh,
you just had a pack of Marlboros.
Bro, I don't know what to say, bro. I'm just.
Wait,
a
no,
tired
what's
man.
your YouTube again?
You literally... Alright!
Bro, you're stupid, Luke.
Our screams caused him to stop
I
chasing
forgot
us,
it.
and he eventually just
You should already
stopped.
be subscribed, bro.
But he didn't move.
I
He just stood
forgot.
still,
I am
watching
Ryan doesn't
us
even
left.
like this stream.
He didn't stay around to see what his intentions were. He
Huh?
just ran straight back to M's
Ryan just
house.
watches it.
Once we got back, we slammed the door and
Brian, I
decided
literally
on
told
not
you
telling
that
her parents.
it was gonna
as
take
they were
2
already
hours
asleep.
to get my hair
We all
done.
went to the living room to finish setting up our sleeping areas.
Brian.
A few hours passed. It was about 2 a.m. at this point.
I didn't say
We
it
were
was 2
watching
hours to
something.
get my hair
I can't remember
so it
what,
would be
but
bad.
I know it was
2
some
hours.
horror movie. Now,
No,
I mentioned
no,
her house
I
was on
forgot
a
your
cliff for
YouTube.
a reason.
Just tell me what it is.
Because of this, her house has a lot of
It's
windows on the
Velocity,
backside
bro.
overlooking the
Yeah,
view.
you're actually not a real friend.
I was sitting on one of the couches that was set up right at the window.
Yeah,
It was
yeah. What
pitch
do you
black
think? He
outside.
plays.
All
Just
you
You
could
know,
hear
he,
was
when
the
I
waves
search
and
that up, I
occasional
can't
wind.
find it.
All of a
Bro.
sudden,
bro. All
I
you
heard
play.
footsteps
No, what do
outside.
you think? He
They
never
sounded
played
like
with
they
us
were right
anymore.
by the
Obviously, he's
window.
not a real one.
I told my friends, and Em said it was probably the deer that always comes by.
Bro, just because he
For
has a
2 years
girlfriend,
now, Em had been
he's getting
feeding this
out
deer,
there
who
in his
always
life.
came up to this very
Does
window.
not mean you can hate
I
him,
got
bro.
pretty excited, as this meant this deer would come right up to my hand. I decided to look out the window,
acting
but
Okay.
I
I'm
didn't
not
see
getting
anything.
out
Yo,
there
bro.
in life.
It was too
Yo, bro,
dark.
just send me the
I
link
said
to
that
it.
we should go outside to pet the deer, but
You're
Em and
actually
Sam
so
said no.
weird.
They reminded me about what happened
Me?
earlier, and I
No,
agreed.
me.
So we went
I
back to
know,
watching the
I'm
movie.
sorry.
Another hour passed, and we were all
Thank
feeling tired. We turned off the TV and headed under our blankets.
Drop that, John.
It was about 45 minutes later. Em and Sam were fast asleep, but I felt like I couldn't rest. Something was up.
You're
I
acting
had
like
this
I'm
gut
hating,
feeling
but
that
he
told me
does
not to
play
go
a
to
little bit
sleep.
of the Bronx.
So I decided to look
Oh, yeah, he still
outside.
does.
I don't play it
The moon was
anymore.
Oh, he
just
definitely
bright
still
enough
does.
that you could see the ocean.
Then,
So I
then
spent
why
a
are
few
you
minutes
acting
just
like
staring
I'm
outside. As I was staring outside,
Why
my
are you
eye caught
acting
something
like
moving in the woods
I'm
over to
hating?
the left.
And I'm not.
I turned my head that way, but I saw nothing. I knew I saw something moving, so I grabbed a flashlight that was on the
Why is
bookshelf
it-
and I
Oh,
pointed
bro,
it in the
bro,
direction
I
of where I
thought you
saw
were
the movement.
streaming games.
Now, this was
you're
probably the
streaming
worst idea I could have
Bible
ever had,
verses. That's a
because
W.
when I did so, I saw that man again.
Oh yeah.
This time he didn't have any snow gear on. Instead, he was completely shirtless.
Oh,
I wasn't about to
what
find
are
out
you
what else he
watching?
didn't have on. So I tried to wake up Em and Sam and tell them what I saw.
Everybody.
Sam woke up, but Em was a deep sleeper. I told Sam to look.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival
Bro,
skills.
I need YouTube proof.
Should you become stranded, be ready to signal
Bro,
rescuers.
I actually need YouTube proof.
Look outside, but when we looked, he was gone.
Bro, he's actually.
Sam looked at me with a pretty angry expression, like I was just messing with her.
Yeah, I know.
I told her I wasn't.
No,
but she
whoa!
didn't believe me.
What?
She She went back to bed. I was left laying there.
Bro,
It was now about 4:30 in the morning.
My bad, guys.
It was still
And
dark
Richard's just
outside.
clueless.
I didn't sleep at all.
I am
myself drifting
clueless. I
off
don't
to
know what's
sleep when I
happening.
heard a knock on the door.
No, are you getting
Oh, Luke
Jumped
is a
off the couch
pedophile?
when I
I
heard
already
it.
know
Yo,
that.
Richard, get off
knew
and
it.
go to sleep, bro. You clearly cannot be on right now.
What do you mean?
Bro, you're actually being so stupid.
Bro,
That's
get
on stream.
Fortnite.
That's on stream. That's on stream. That's going in the stream clips for tomorrow. That's going in stream
What?
clips for tomorrow.
Who? I was asking who was a pedophile. How is that
This
stream
shirtless
clip?
guy who's following everybody.
Oh, it depends how old they are. Am I gonna say any crazy?
Mid-60s.
I mean, I like them a little older, about 90 years old. A little bit older. I like them wrinkly. I like them actually a little bit older. I like them when they can't walk. Or actually, no, I like them a little bit older when they have dementia. So they can't remember every single time I molested them.
Oh,
this is
I
all
love-
on
this is
stream.
all on camera.
You know something? I like when their teeth falls out too.
Alright.
Just the feeling.
The feeling of what exactly?
When the grandma gives you a big old smooch, it feels good.
Alright, that's
Yeah,
it.
I said it.
That's
It might be
that's
controversial. I said it.
That's I gotta stop it. I gotta stop stream before Richard does something that ends up ending his career, bro.
Oh my god.
Alright, see y'all
Not
later.
good.
I love big, oily, sweaty grandmas.
That's on stream. That is on stream. You're actually so big.
Can you delete that stream?
No, that's a VOD. YouTube VODs stay forever.
What's a YouTube VOD?
Oh my god.
What's a VOD? Just delete it.
I can't. It's like a Twitch VOD, but it stays forever.
So you can't delete a stream.
Do you want unless I delete my channel.
I'm sure nobody's watching anyways.
I'm posting that to my clips tomorrow. They typically get
Bro.
around 300 to 400 views.
Bro, don't actually. If you post that, I will strangle you, bro.
I like oily grandmas.
Me too. Wait, my bad.
Bro, that's supposed to be just the like us boys thing.
Bro,
You
I
can't be
literally
like-
said I was streaming on a call 35 minutes before you joined. Brian can attest to that. And then you joined, and then you said all of this, knowing full well I was streaming. 100%
Yes, I know, but you
knowing in
can't
your
clip,
brain that I was
you can't
streaming.
clip it. You can't clip it.
It's literally on stream!
Yeah, but nobody's
Everybody's
gonna
gonna
rewatch
see
the
it.
stream. Nobody's gonna rewatch it.
Oh my god, guys. No one. Just get on Fortnite.
Alright.
Gosh.
It doesn't matter. I've heard crazier, to be honest.
Like what?
I've heard crazier.
You serve zero purpose.
Okay, no.
You should kill yourself now.
Bro, don't say that on stream. He can get his channel banned.
Coming from whom?
I'm
Shut up,
actually being
woman.
serious. No, like he actually can.
I don't care.
Bro, do you want his channel to get
Who
deleted?
cares?
Bro, if my second
You know
channel gets
something?
deleted, I
Your
might actually
opinion
crash out.
does not matter. You serve zero purpose.
Richard,
should.
stop. No,
You
I'm
should.
mute. No, I'm mute.
You
no,
should.
I'm mute. No,
Be
I'm
happy.
mute. Okay, good.
Hey, what? I just said to be happy. Can I not
Bro,
say to be happy?
Bro, don't say that. He
You
can
know what
actually
time
get
it
his
is?
channel banned.
You know what time
Bro,
it
I
is?
was saying just to be happy.
You know
Can
what
someone not
time
be
it is,
happy?
boy?
You know something, Luke? You know something,
What?
Luke?
Oh
You know
no,
something?
no one.
Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Hold up, I'll be back.
No. I'm deleting.
Who's finna join me first? Who's finna join me first? Get in here, boy!
You know something?
Huh.
You get in here, boy. You're not. I'm the dominator here.
What?
Ah.
You don't want to know what just went down there.
Okay, I'm deleting that channel, bro. I can't.
I'm gaming Luke.
Alright.
Bro, actually don't make that channel because if my dad goes through my Discord, he's gonna see this.
I feel like banning
Bro,
Luke.
when is your dad gonna go through your Discord and crash out because of this?
I have no purpose of wanting to ban Luke. I just want to ban Luke.
How does he feel about
Bro.
me? How does your dad feel about me?
He does not like you.
Hooked.
Yo, so are you getting me for my birthday?
Why doesn't he like me?
Shut up, woman.
I literally gave you everything that I had on Fortnite. Why doesn't he like me?
What? Oh, we can play Fortnite. I'm not lagging anymore.
Oh, no,
so
you're terrible. No, you're terrible. No, you're terrible.
He's playing with me.
You're terrible. I'm playing with Luke.
You
For
can
once,
play with
I
Brian.
actually agree with him.
Okay, let's 1v1 boss fight real quick then.
Alright, Pat, say that! On stream too. I don't even need to be off stream. 60 FPS. 20 FPS.
No, I was lagging last
FPS.
night. I was you know my internet gets bad during the nighttime. You literally know this, Noah. I was not at my peak.
Bro, bro, I'm about to become a robber, bro.
I'm not even bad.
Hey,
You're acting like I'm as bad as Brian.
Hey, no, pause your stream so you can sign in.
Oh no, you're definitely not as bad as Brian. Brian's still pretty
Richard is worse than me. No, I'm not. I will 1v1 you. You're not.
Cap. Richard 3-0s you every single time.
Brian, if you don't have a spam weapon, I promise you I beat
Richard
you.
will 3-0 you if you have a spam weapon with a blue pump shotgun. Richard will 3-0 you with a gray tactical pistol. I will 3-0 you with a pickaxe if you don't have an SMG. I'm not even joking.
I have quite literally pickaxe
if
Brian.
If you don't have an SMG, I will 3-0 you with a pickaxe.
Okay, me and Luke 1v1 real quick.
No,
you and
I'm
Luke?
not 1v1ing you.
Yeah.
No. You actually gotta do this. Now you actually gotta do this, Loki. You versus Luke?
I would actually cook you, though.
Okay, then prove it.
Then prove it.
Bro,
I would have to go.
Richard's low-key just gonna spam, and I know it.
Okay. I'll be the judge
me
of that,
spamming?
boy.
Me spamming?
Hold up, let me.
Yeah, bro. Actually, you always spam though. But like, actually.
I'm just pausing the stream for a second so I can sign into my phone.
Yeah, he's
literally Brian. Brian literally.
Do you see look at Dior's story, bro.
Yeah, I know, bro. That's crazy.
What is going on at Dior's house?
No, it's like some Muslim. He lives in a Muslim neighborhood. So. Yeah, even Brian thinks I don't spam, bro.
Bro, you do spam.
You're just saying that because you're salty.
She get so wetty. It's like hold up, Dior's gone.
Let's warm up real quick though.
No.
Dior, what is happening?
Hold on.
Yeah, invite. Let's invite.
They did all that for one wedding?
Well, they're Muslim. What do you expect? Watch you play Fortnite.
That's crazy.
Okay, Richard. Wait, hold on. No, I'm gonna share my screen. You can watch it.
No.
Flavored donuts.
Let's get Noah inside of here so he can spectate.
No, because this can only hold 2 people.
No, bro. If this isn't box fights, this is build fights, bro.
Yeah, I know. We are not doing box fights.
Exactly, you're scared.
No, why don't we do
I'm better at you than box fights.
Why don't we actually just do it?
Do what?
Bro, just do a regular 1v1.
Bro, they had an entire marching band.
Bro, I'm not good at these, and I know I'll probably lose, but okay. I know I'm gonna lose this, bro.
Yo, Noah, watch my stream.
I'm not good at these.
If
you really want to do something, let's go to realistics, bro. 1v1 realistic.
Richard, okay,
Bro,
just
do an actual
do
1v1.
normal creative for once ever, please.
Bro, if we're gonna do something like this, let's do realistics.
Richard, just ready up.
Bro, I'm gonna lose this. I'm not good at these.
Noah, put your stream onto my screen share.
I'm telling you that I'm gonna lose this before I can lose.
Wait, what'd you say, Dior? What'd you say?
Hey, Noah, you have to turn on your stream to my screen share.
The dudes to kiss the other dudes? Oh yeah, I know Noah, that happens.
Noah, dude, you have to put you have to put Discord and unpause your stream so you can watch. Okay, we can see it now.
Blue pump, bro. Silver Rain. What's the difference between Silver Rain and?
No, we're doing a gold pump and a blue AR.
No AR, just blue pump.
Wait,
hold on. Let me switch my keyboard real quick.
Dude, blue pump, no AR. Blue pump, no AR.
Hold on, I'm switching my keyboard.
Blue pump, no AR.
We could pick you up, but my mom would really appreciate it.
Since I literally know that I'm going to lose this, blue pump, no AR.
Alright.
Run it.
I never play this mode.
Oh wait, my sense is off.
Dude, do you live in like a Muslim
You need
neighborhood or something?
Oh.
How Indian? Oh.
That isn't.
They have the dogs. It's crazy. Bro, they have the dogs. Bro, what happens if they record you? Bro, that's what the problem is? I thought the red dot was like for religion. It's a secret recording device.
Oh shoot, he just hit a really good shot.
So they're all AI?
Hold on. Oh wait, hold on. Okay.
Bro, wait, isn't it the women who have the red dot?
No, it's both. And Dior is an Indian.
Bro, Richard, you're actually playing weird, bro.
Bro, you're just sitting in a box waiting for him to do something, bro. Forrest is literally coming in my mouth. Like he's coming. Bro, he's coming.
Bro, what are you... Are you healing or something?
I don't have heals.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yo, my headphones died.
Bro.
It doesn't matter, bro.
Mr. Excuses, bro. I literally said that I was gonna lose it.
Headphones don't matter.
I literally said that I was gonna lose that and I won, bro.
Wait, what's the score? Is it 0-1?
Yeah, what are we going to?
I'm on a Discord call with Richard
and
Ryan
and he says that I play weird, bro. He literally just
why a raging homosexual.
Okay, guys, I'm back.
Bro, what are you talking about? That is my dog. Boogie Woogie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh! Oh!
No, I'll have this. Luke is better than editing on me.
Answer the call!
Oh, I just got full box almost. Yeah.
Hold up, y'all, let me join.
Yeah, Luke is probably good. He got the high ground. I'm just trying to get the high ground advantage right now.
Oh, Luke, why was you pressing? Ready? Steady?
No, wait! Oh, no! I'm screwed. Yeah, hold on.
Ah! I have no more.
Oh, wait, I did not realize how low I am. Hold on.
Ah!
Wait, hold up. Maybe. This is comebackable. But Luke has to play this very smart. Aggressive play by Richard, and Luke is killed. Whoa! Luke, what are you doing? Luke, what are you doing? What are you doing? Alright. Alright.
No, I fell! Hold on. Yeah, redo.
Redo!
Same health.
Same health? Okay, okay.
Yeah, so don't heal. No, it's 1-0.
It's 1-0. Okay. Richard didn't win yet. Richard didn't win anything yet. 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 Alright.
I don't blame you for playing like that, Luke.
Yeah, I
mean, really
I mean, I'm really low.
Yeah, I know.
Too.
Yeah, you're just better than Ed and you. I think I'm just hitting my shots.
Okay, whoever wins this, I got a 1v1 then, boy. Wait, where's the live? Okay, wait, where's the live? Wait, where's the live? That would have been crazy! Would have been insane.
I literally said that I'm bad at editing.
Okay, now he's going. Yeah, but he almost killed me. Like he almost literally puts you.
Oh my god! How did that blink?
That did not blink.
Yo, bro. Since I'm streaming, I'm like lagging a lot.
Bro, I'm literally streaming as well. You have 142 FPS. What are you talking about?
Normally I have 180. Bro, Richard, you're actually playing so weird, bro.
He is indeed playing.
He's playing smart.
Okay, wait.
That's
I hit that. I actually hit that.
That's me getting my high ground.
Bro, you're literally sitting on height. You're like one of those guys who just builds up and up and up and up and up and then they sit.
Rita, stop distracting me.
Yo,
Get
wait,
out.
wait, hold on. That shot was clean.
2-1. 2-1.
Bro, legit. I have my feet on a trash can right now.
I'm not trying to make a Luke excuse right now.
Oh my god.
My little sister literally just walked in.
Okay, yeah, buddy.
Just because she's walking in doesn't really mean. Oh boy.
Bro!
He fell.
Oh my gosh. No, I didn't. I'm not
How
all the way down. Bro, I'm lagging. I actually have 150 FPS ping right now. Like, no joke. Bro.
Yo, wait. Okay, wait. That pre-fire was kind of crazy. Okay, 5.
Bro, I'm at 106. I'll screenshot it right now. Can I not play right now, bro? Look at my ping right now.
I don't care.
Yeah, bro. It doesn't really matter that much.
Bro, Luke literally has a.
I'm at 164 ping.
Luke
I'm literally
has yellow X on his ping.
I do.
I have red. I have red.
Bro, yellow, red, same difference. It's still lag.
Oh, come on, bro.
Bro,
run it.
Bro, I will literally.
Run it.
I will call you, bro.
Alright,
I will call you.
Call me.
If you don't stop screaming, I'm gonna distract you.
My friends are annoying me.
Well, don't talk to them, or I'm gonna get annoyed. Fix your bed.
Okay. Bro. Thank you a lot, Luke. Bro.
Well
what
done.
did Luke do?
I'm literally expressing I have red right now. I'm not playing
Wait,
you.
hold on.
Having 130 ping right now.
He's on 131 ping. He's literally on 131 ping.
I'm not playing you, bro.
He's widowy on 131 ping.
I'm not gonna get full box because I'm lagging and can't hold my builds. It's 2-2 right now. Why is my ping so bad? I hate my
I have AUT, ISM. I have AUT, ISM.
I literally told you, Noah. He might be having like a low FPS, but I'm getting like horrible ping right now.
I just sneezed.
Bro, I think ping matters a lot more than FPS.
Okay, yo. Okay, so.
Actually, that's kind of debatable.
If you have no, I would rather have good ping than like good FPS. I would rather be rocking like 30 FPS with like one ping than sit like 400 FPS with.
Okay, guys.
Can't do anything with either.
Yo, after this, I may or may not have to go play with Bay. I might have to go, bro.
Get the Get off.
Yeah, just
oh,
get off.
No.
Okay,
after this, I might play for a little bit longer.
No, get off the game. Get off the game.
Yo, no, bro, run it.
No,
I might be okay.
He's widowy wagon. Just get off the game.
Yeah, I'm still lagging, bro.
What do you mean Richard won 3-0? Luke literally won 2. It's 1-2. Wait, no, it's 2-2. 2-2? 2-2. Whoever wins this gets all the marbles. Luke's hitting some moves.
Yo!
Yo, if Luke gets cooked here, yo, Luke is so good.
Yo, hold on, wait. I have to move.
You can go play with me already.
No, hold on.
200.
Okay.
Oh, bro, I can't take any.
Richard, come here.
I can't take any walls with this.
Yo, Richard, GG, come here. Richard, come here.
We should do this another time when I'm not lagging. But you want to?
Wait, come here, Spooky. Love you, bro.
Love you too, bro. We can 1v. I really do want to 1v1 when I'm not lagging.
Yeah. We can.
Bro, I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's 3-2.
Whatever.
Okay.
It's 3-2. I shouldn't have pushed anyway.
Bye, guys.
See you, Luke.
Wait, are you playing Fortnite with Bay or Roblox with Bay?
Oh no, I'm going to her house.
Bay?
You're so
strange. You mean G?
Okay, bye guys.
Shh.
as you can see, I'm not that bad. If I'm not lagging, that is difference. If I'm not lagging, I'm good.
Yeah, who else watching me right now? Brian, are you in the stream? Is Richard in the stream?
No.
I know Luke's not.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go play some Roblox.
Hearts, 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 hearts.
I think I might go find a new show to watch.
Brother, if you find one good show, I will actually drop to my knees.
I feel you, bro. There's nothing good on Netflix or Hulu. I've watched all of it.
Wait, I'm actually getting like hearts, bro. Bro,
I couldn't
Bleach
get.
has been
I
watched.
I haven't watched that. I've watched Death Note until L died. I stopped watching it.
Chat.
L died and I didn't want to watch anymore. I got too sad.
L died and I didn't want to watch anymore.
I got sad, bro. He was literally the best character. He should have solved the mystery, bro.
I mean, she.
But yeah, I tried to watch Bleach. It's just not for me. I couldn't get past episode 7.
I can be your mystery.
What?
Sorry.
Hooked. Okay, what do you want to play?
I need to hit a lead on Fortnite.
I feel like you shouldn't do that, and we should play a Roblox horror game all together.
Yeah, see,
Or-
normally yes, but I gotta hit Unreal this season.
You know something? Instead of doing that, you know what you should do? You should play Survive in Africa Simulator.
Alright.
Survive in Africa. Let's play some Survive in Africa.
You do
So you're saying you don't want to play Survive in Africa with me?
Yes, that is indeed what I am saying.
Oh my gosh, you do?
No.
Oh. You're a loser.
I might just lose my mind if the Bengals go 3-0.
Make me lose the ability to walk. You literally
told
me that you never want to see me again last
I'll make you lose the ability to walk.
So how the f am I supposed to play with my coin slot with these?
Alright, we're getting off. We are getting off.
So I'm up because I barely slept last night, and I was thinking, we never have an excuse for sin. You know, because like I said, I barely slept, so today I'll be tired and I'll be irritable. So to someone, it could be understandable if I have a quick temper or a short fuse today. But that's not an excuse. Like if I snap at my son or my wife because I didn't sleep last night, I'm still responsible for that. Those are still decisions that I made. Those are still actions that I took. And the same goes for any time we sin in our life. No matter our situation, no matter our circumstances, we cannot make excuse for sin. Sin is still sin. Sin is still an affront to God. Sin is still a transgression against the Almighty. And we have to treat it as such. It's not some trivial thing. It's a stain. And we can't allow ourselves to be filthy. Just a random thought. God bless, my friend. So I'm up because I barely slept last night. And
Ha! It took so long for that beat drop, bro. Type shift. Alright. My grandpa just told me to turn the lights off, and I realized he died 7 years ago, and it's 2 a.m.
Wait, what?
My grandpa just told me to turn the lights off, but I realized that he died 7 years ago, and it's 2 a.m.
Oh, I tap up grandpa. Be like, what's good? How you been? What's death like?
That's Fortnite exploit that the pros kept a secret among themselves for months. Back in 20... Oh, it's by Cypher PK. Never mind, we're not watching that.
You don't want to play Roblox with me?
And no, I don't. Well, I do, yes, but what matters more... But what matters more is hitting Unreal this season.
Do you want to play Valorant?
Do I? Yes. But do I know that you're going to end up selling my rank? Also, yes. So, do I
No, bro.
To? No.
There's a new agent. And you know if I
Bro,
never...
No,
if I've never...
No, there's not. There's no new
Vice.
Agent. Vice isn't... What are you talking about? Vice is new. Vice has been out for 2 months.
She has?
Bro. Brian, how... Bro, Vice has been out for literally over a month. Are you actually
I think a little over a month. Well, I have Vice now, and you know, every single time
Bro,
I play
you
new
just
agent,
now got Vice?
Yeah, well, I got it like 2 days ago. But yeah, since I have Vice now, and you know, I always top frag with a new like agent that I've never played with for some reason.
Cap. Some agents you do extremely atrocious at, like Viper.
Tell me.
Or Yoru.
I used to be really good at Viper.
Yeah, now you're terrible at Viper.
And Yoru, I think I've played Yoru once, and the one time I did play, I did good, I believe.
You literally told me that you were terrible at Yoru. And then you said, was that you or was that Brian who said that they couldn't play Sky? Also, what happened to Breach and Chamber? Or Cypher? Like, you used to play those agents, but now you don't. What happened to those guys?
Bro, I barely play Valorant anymore.
Bro,
I do play them.
Oh, Cthulhu. Cthulhu. Ah. Sorry. Well, I just stopped.
Keith?
I just stopped
Who's
playing.
Keith?
Bro, I don't know. I just stopped playing because Brian got to gold. Why do you expect me to know whoever this Keith person is?
Well, I don't know. This random person texted me. I asked them if you knew a Keith.
Who's
Keith?
So, who's Keith? I'm invested in the lore now.
Oh, some dude on my bus stop.
Alright! We are getting off stream. 3, 2...